Okay. There we go. The vertical live stream, I think, should finally be connected. Like to make loads. There we go. Vertical live stream should be up and running. Sorry about the delay there, friends. Now let me go and check on our horizontal live stream, which didn't get off the ground. We'll try again here in just a second. We'll get the horizontal live stream rocking and rolling. There was a weird setting inside of YouTube that was changed. I don't know why it was changed. I don't know the situation there, why it would be changed. But for one reason or another, it was. I don't know why. All right, so we're gonna try this again. Unable to start output. Why? Why can you unable to start output? Not currently active. Start your main encoder first. I don't have a main encoder. Worse. Why do you? All right. Well, I guess you have to give me a second. I apologize. I've got to like. I'm using Streamlabs. Streamlabs being an asshole right now is the situation. Or not Streamlabs. I'm using OBS from my laptop. I'm not at home, and OBS running on the Mac is a bit of an asshole. So there's that happened. 1 second here, and we'll get it set up. The vertical stream should be running. We should have that part going. So we'll be ready to rock and roll here in just horizontal stream. All right, go. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, now let me see real quick. I think everything's set up for the built-in. I'm gonna manage the broadcast, select the broadcast, select and start streaming. There we go. So the horizontal stream should be live in just a second. Looks like it is going live right now. Says there's a connection. Let me make sure it loads. There we go. And it is loaded. Sorry about that, friends. And then last thing. All right, I'm going to start the TikTok stream. We'll make sure the TikTok stream loads. And because I'm not at home, I won't be able to take guests on TikTok. We're going to do it the same way we do the Unapologetic show, where you have to use the link on the screen in order to guest up. But give me a second, make sure that I am in fact live on TikTok, because it doesn't show me live yet, although I should be live. If you are following me on TikTok, let me know if I'm live yet. But sometimes it's like delayed anyways. Sometimes it doesn't even show me live. In the comments asking where the horizontal stream at, in the link in the video that you're watching right now, in the description of the video rather, you should see a link to my other channel, which is DZ Debates. If you go to DZ Debates, you'll find the horizontal live stream. I am testing out the TikTok live stream right now, at least trying to. It says it's live, but it's not showing that it's live. I wonder why it's not showing that it's live. 1 second. Yeah, it definitely did not go live on TikTok. I don't know why it did not go live on TikTok. Because that is indeed, that is my TikTok stream key. I wonder if TikTok disabled the ability to stream from a third party. Wonder if that happened. I'll stop it and restart it. Anyways, we can. Fucking technology. My favorite thing. My favorite thing. I know this. I know there's a method for making this work because I've done it before. So like, if give it a second to catch up though. I just restarted the TikTok stream, but I don't know if it's actually gonna start. Anyways, while we're doing that, I'll fuck around with that while I get our first guest pulled in. If you're watching this on the tubes, there's a link in the description of the video to request up. It's also on the screen. You can request up and chat. We've got one super chat from our friend Tim. Says, for your medical bills from that gash. More of a scrape than a gash. I appreciate that though. I was working on my I got this old Jeep that it's like my beater, my wintertime beater. And I was working on the rear end on Monday, and I was replacing the springs, and I had to drop the gas tank down and replace the fuel pump and replace the gas tank skid plate. Anyways, I had at some point I wasn't wearing safety glasses, and some rust fell into my eyes, and I sat up and I whacked my head on the frame. It's bleeding everywhere. It was a good time. Working on cars is a good time. I still enjoy it, even though it can be a hassle, especially if like the bolts are rusted in place. But all right. And last super chat, we'll get our guest in here. Snowball, thank you for the super chat, friend. Says rock hard for Doug. 20,000 marched under the resurrected Nero. Can you share that source? It seems that diplomacy won out and they didn't actually follow through. Yeah, so there's a couple different sources on the wars. So there was the annals of Tacitus and Suetonius that record what went down. I do have a document in my Google Drive with all the sources. Send me a DM on the Discord, and I could share you all the sources that talk about the imposters. Because there was more than one, by the way. I don't know if you knew this. There was more than one that convinced the Parthians that he resurrected. But we can definitely work on that. Let me get Adam into our discussion. Adam, how you doing? Can you hear me? Adam? It shows your microphone's turned off, Adam. Adam? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Were you waiting in? There we go. You're waiting in the guest box for a little while.
Sorry. I thought you were saying Adam. My name is Adon.
Oh, sorry. It look from what I'm reading, it looks like Adam. I apologize. You're Adon? Adon? What's your name?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Adon, are you at least 18, and do you believe in some kind of a god?
Yeah. I believe in God. I'm a Muslim.
Yeah, fantastic. So, what would be the most compelling evidence or most compelling argument for the Muslim god being?
First of all, I was raised as a Muslim. Then, according to the arguments, I would say the argument of cause of all causes, that everything comes from a cause, and if there is nothing at the
Oh,
end of the cause,
you don't believe
then
that?
there should be a
You don't believe
yeah.
that? You don't believe that everything has a cause? You think
Okay.
you think your
Like
god is uncaused, right?
no. I
So
am saying that
so
everything
yours
like
so you're special
the
pleading
universe has a cause.
you're special pleading for your god. So everything doesn't have a cause.
I'm saying that, like in the chain of causes, there should be an end at the cause,
Why?
the first cause.
Why?
Why don't? I
Why
mean,
does
like
there
logically, would you say that,
why does there need to be a
like,
first cause?
if there's a sniper here, and he will fire the bullet only if he gets order from a person, and there are infinite person, infinite, you can say, the sir or whatever. I forgot the right word for that. So there is infinite regress. That bullet can't be shot
Yeah, because
if there is infinite regress.
Yeah, you're committing a category
Yeah, yeah.
here. You're asking where's the starting point at a non-starting point. There's no starting point. You're
Then
asking you're asking
what
where's
was
the starting point on a circle. It's a malformed analogy. It doesn't fit,
yeah, yeah.
right? So circles don't have starting point.
Then how, no, you said I mean like from what we know, the Big Bang Theory.
What about it?
What?
What about it? Yeah, I believe in the Big Bang.
Yeah, Big Bang. It means that the universe come from a cause. There was a big
Yeah,
the Big Bang happened. What was
an
the
infinite
first
chain
cause?
of causes. I agree. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Then what was the first cause?
there's no first cause. We already
That
covered this.
I mean, like if anything happened, like you said, according to Big Bang, everything was merged, and then it blasted and it spread through. Yeah. So what was the first? What was the cause for that happen? For that happening?
For the
The
expansion of
uniform,
the
the
universe,
universe. Yeah, the creation of universe.
there's no creation of the universe. That's why I keep saying if the universe always existed, there's no creation event, there's no first event, there's no prime mover.
Well, how can you say that there is no cause for that? I mean, like from the Big Bang Theory,
I didn't say
from
there's no
what we,
cause. I said there's no first cause. It's an endless chain of causes.
how can be there an endless chain of causes?
Why can't there be?
Intellectually, logically.
Where's the logical contradiction?
Oh no, this is
Like, so
contradicting. I
you've
mean, like,
you've been trained to believe that you can't have an infinite regress, but you have no
uh,
good reason to believe that.
no, no. If I am saying this, not out of like the love and everything like that. I was like, being a Muslim is very hard. So I have
Yeah,
a
it
little
is.
bit research on this.
It is very hard. I agree with
This
you
is not
there.
that my parents are not like religious. Not not like that. A very religious boy. But for me, being I'm just going on the path. So it is very hard to be a Muslim.
I
So I
agree.
need
It's
the
very
logical
hard to be a
reasoning for that.
Muslim, but I don't know if that's relevant, right? We're talking about whether or not there's a prime
No, I'm
mover.
just no, I'm just answering the question. The thing you said that I am like trained to this to think that there is a cause, but I am not trained to that to do that idea.
No, that's what
I
I'm
have
saying is
like
somebody led you to believe that you can't have an infinite regress, but you can't tell me why, right? That's so like a lot of people will tell me, no, you can't have an infinite past. Why? Why can't you have an infinite past?
because if we have an infinite path, then how the thing started?
There's no start. That's the whole point. I don't know why you keep asking the wrong question. There's no starting point when there's an infinite past.
How can you prove this logically? I don't understand here.
But prove what? I don't need to. There's no reason to believe that everything that exists once didn't exist. Like we know that things exist. Like that's just an axiom that we hold that we can test scientifically, right? So in order for me to posit that there was once nothing, you would need some sort of like reason for me to believe that there was once nothing.
I mean, like from science and everything, the scientist believes almost everything. Everyone now, every scientist believe that the universe started, the time itself started
No,
had
they
a
don't
beginning.
believe they don't believe that. That's what you want them to believe. So the Big Bang is
Uh,
not positing that there was nothing and then
I'm talking.
something came from nothing. That's
About,
not what the Big Bang is about.
can you? This is Stephen Hawking quote that I am saying.
In,
Almost
in fact,
everyone now
if
believes
you
that.
actually read Stephen Hawking's writings and listen to his
I'm using
lectures,
Muslim.
like his last lecture
Yeah,
before he died, he literally talked about how there could be an infinite regress of time in the past.
yeah. Can you tell me then how can you prove me? I mean, like I want to know about that infinite regress of time. How can it exist?
How
I
can
mean,
it
like
not?
for me, logically to believe that no, I mean, like for me, logically to believe that there is infinite regress, there is no starting point.
Yeah, I agree.
Then I
There's no
don't
starting
understand
point. Yes. In order to establish that there is a starting point, you would need some sort of reason to believe that.
or if we think logically, uh,
Right, I'm
like
asking,
for
find me the logical reason why there can't be an infinite regress. That's what I'm waiting for. Because we know that things exist. And if you can't have something from nothing and there's something, then the most logical inference is that
I
there
would
was
say
never
that
nothing.
if simply like if time was infinite in the past, we would never reach the present.
We would, yeah, we would.
How?
The present always exists at all points in the timeline.
I'm not making a claim and anything like that, but this is really, really not making any sense to me.
I know. Yeah, I know it's not making sense to you, but you can't demonstrate why it doesn't make sense to you. It sounds to me like you just don't like the conclusion of the statement. Like, in order to like
I mean, like,
defend the idea that time once didn't exist, that space once didn't exist, that material and quantum fields once didn't exist, I would need some evidence for that, right? You're asking me to believe that everything that exists once didn't exist, and I see not a single shred of evidence to believe that. There's not one single
I mean, like
scientific evidence that would point to nothingness.
the universe, from what scientifically, the universe began with Big Bang.
No, it did not.
Right? No,
That's
the
not
universe
what the
began with
that
Big
is
Bang.
not what the Big Bang says. It doesn't say that the universe was invented or created at the Big Bang. There was nothing and then there was universe. That's not what it says.
So, what is the theory of Big Bang? What is the theory of Big Bang?
The Big Bang only explains the expansion of the universe. That is literally it. It does. There's no claim in the Big Bang about what came before the bang. And even in like modern science, they've done surveys of cosmologists and physicists about what they believe is before the Big Bang, and virtually none of them believe that there was nothing before the Big Bang. That that's not something that modern cosmologists and scientists are teaching.
I mean, like if there is no cause of anything, why there is nothing?
No, there's an infinite chain of causes. I didn't say there's no cause.
I mean, like infinite change of if we say that you are climbing an infinite, uh, an infinite ladder, what would be the first step you took?
Again, you're making a category error. There's no such thing as first on an
This
infinite.
is
All
logical
you're
error.
doing
This
is
is logical
forming.
error.
All you're doing is forming bad analogies. You need to form an
Uh,
analogy that doesn't have a starting point. That would be analogous. Every time you form an analogy that includes a starting point, you are making an error. There's no starting point in an infinite.
I mean, what can I say then?
Not much. Yeah. There's not much you can say. You don't have a good
I mean,
reason to
like,
you don't have a good reason to believe in your God other than the fact that you were
so,
probably raised in a culture that believed in this God, right? And then what you did is you worked yourself backwards. You said, "Well, I believe in this God. What are some arguments that I can use to justify my belief?" What you didn't do is start as an
I'm just saying that,
atheist and find these arguments to be so compelling that you became a Muslim.
okay, if the time has already passed, okay, then how did we reach
What
this
time?
moment? The infinite time has
What
passed.
time?
Infinite time. Like there is no ending to
There's
time.
you can't
There
say
was
if you can't
infinite
say
change.
infinite time has already passed. You're again you're limiting infinite. You can't pass
No, this
infinite time.
infinite time. No, if we go back and back and back and back and there is nothing to start with, then there is infinite time.
Yeah, I agree.
Is
There's
that
there's
same thing?
infinite time in the past and in the future. I agree. Yes. Like eventually you're gonna get it. I believe in you. I know you're gonna get it eventually.
If that that I mean, like, if I think logically, I really don't get this point.
At what point? Like again,
That
you,
there
you
is
you
infinite
have
universe
no
now.
reason to believe that there's an
So then,
error
what is the reason to
in
believe in that?
having
That
some
will,
kind of an infinite past.
the the reason for that is, I mean, like, logically, if we think, then there is everything has a start,
No, everything doesn't have a start. And you don't believe that anyways. You don't
right?
believe everything has a start because you're going to special plead for your God not having a start, right? So the minute you say blanket
In the
statements
universe,
like everything has a start, you're lying to me. You don't believe everything has a start. You believe
I mean, like, in
everything
the
except for your
universe.
God has a start.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. So I'm saying that the stuff we know is already here. The stuff we know exists. It's logically inferred that that stuff, the universe, always existed, rather than making the dubious claim that it once didn't exist and my magic man in the sky made it exist.
Logically, I mean, like, okay, there was Big Bang. Why is it expanding? Why the universe expand? I mean, like,
Because
for every reaction, there is a new. If a
because there was a reaction in the universe that caused it to expand. Now, there's a couple explanations for
but
what could have
how that
caused
would,
it. You could go to inflation theory. You could go to black hole bounce. I think black hole bounce is my favorite explanation for the cause of the universe expanding. I think it makes the most sense. It fits mathematically, it fits logically, and it uses phenomenon that is really easy to observe. Like we know how black holes, we know they exist. Keep in mind, like your entire argument so far rests on the universe once not existing. Just keep in mind, right? The entire basis for your argument relies on you demonstrating that the universe once was nothing, and you have no way to do it. So you need a better method. Like
no, I'm not saying there universe.
if you think that your
No, no,
God
I'm
exists,
not
you
saying.
need some kind of a method other than, well, my God caused the creation of the universe, because you'll never be able to prove that.
No, no, I'm not saying that universe didn't exist. I mean, like, in the Quran. I mean, from Islamic perspective, the universe existed, not like that. This universe. I mean, like, in Quran, that everything was combined, like the heaven and earth were combined, and we expanded it.
Yep.
I mean, like, in Quran, it is like that. The
hmm
universe existed, but not like that. The universe that we have now,
Well,
according to Quran.
and even that's debatable, because if you read the Quran, it's clear that their interpretation of heaven just means sky, same as the Hebrew Bible. The idea that the heavens means all of outer space is not remotely a plausible interpretation of what's happening in there. Like all you have to do is read every instance where the word heavens shows up in the Quran, and it's very clear it's just referring to the sky.
Yeah, yeah. Seven sky, seven heavens. Yeah, yeah. Seven skies. Right? What is logically wrong in that?
Logically wrong in what?
I mean, like, seven skies that you are saying everything about that.
I don't know what you mean. Logically wrong with what? I
And
I
I
don't
thought,
believe there are seven skies. Are you asking me if I believe there are seven skies?
no, seven heavens. I'm saying that seven heavens. About heavens being the sky. You are saying about heaven being the sky. What is wrong with that concept?
The heavens is the skies, which means you can't interpret heaven. When it says we are the expander of the heavens, you can't interpret that as being the Big Bang. You can't interpret that as outer space. Everybody in the ancient world believed that all the stars and celestial bodies were just up in the skies, like just above your head. They didn't believe that they were millions and millions of miles away. That's why all the ancient literature, the Bible, the Quran, everything depicts those entities as literally part of our earth. Like it's just the heaven and the earth are connected as one entity, and the gods are right up there floating around in the skies. That's why Zeus is up there throwing lightning.
No, no, it's not like that in Quran. I mean, like,
Oh, it is?
I don't
Yeah.
believe.
Just go to the Quran. Look up every time it uses the word heaven, and it's always just referring to the sky every time. There's no reason ever to interpret the word heaven in the Quran as meaning outer space.
The seven heavens, I mean, like, there are,
I know. The Jews
according to
believe
seven
that
heavens,
too. The Jews describe the seven heavens, and the final heaven is the firmament. The hard dome over top of the earth. That's the last one, right?
yeah.
There's no concept of outer space in any of the ancient literature. They had no idea. Right? We superimpose that idea onto the ancients. The ancients didn't believe that.
The ancient heaven being the sky. Uh, okay, okay. I understand what are you saying. Like, I mean, like, I didn't understand properly, but somewhat I understand what are you saying.
Yeah. But anyways, I mean, listen, the cosmological prime mover type arguments, these aren't really good arguments anyways, because they don't really get you even to remotely close to your God. They don't get you anywhere near Allah or Jesus or Yahweh. At best, they can get you to some deistic God. The minute you
Yeah.
accept like a deistic God or even like a pantheon of gods, I think a pantheon makes way more sense than some
How?
single creator out there who just loves wreaking havoc and torturing people. The idea that there's like a cosmic
Why?
battle between various deities and like the deities themselves don't have everything figured out makes a whole lot more sense than like there's one
Why?
cosmic genie up there and he's going to torture you forever in hellfire if you don't believe in him.
Uh,
Like, why
if
would he
he
do
will
that?
torch,
Why would your God make the universe or make the earth? Why would your God make the earth with natural disasters?
according to what we believe, is that life is very temporary, and we know that this life is very temporary. We feel hardships and everything like that, and this is a test from Allah, that what will we do in these hardships.
Right. I didn't ask you about hardships. I asked you about natural disasters, right? Because hardships and natural disasters are two different things, right? So my question is, if your God is good, and I assume you believe Yahweh is good, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. Allah is good. Yeah.
So if your God is good, why would He create a world where 100,000 people a year are brutally executed via natural disasters? What does that serve? Sometimes they don't even die. Sometimes they're just vegetabilized and they sit in a hospital for the rest of their life. They just sit in a hospital bed on life support for 30, 40 years until someone finally pulls the plug. What kind of a test is that? What are they learning?
For my perspective, is like that. It's test for us, the ones who have been saved from the disaster. That we help the poor, the needy persons,
So God has
and
no other way to test you other than to wreak absolute havoc on people who don't deserve it. Why would he do
the
that?
people, the people who have been affected by the flood will be compensated, and in the other way. Here they will be asked. They, I mean, like, compensation for their good deeds would be higher than the bad deeds. Their sins. Their
Yeah,
sins
but
will be forgiven. Yeah, yeah.
you can't make up for torturing somebody by doing good things. Not how that works.
by torturing,
Like
by torturing, I mean,
if I torture my
yeah, yeah.
child and then I'm like, it's okay, I'll pay you back for it someday. That doesn't justify the torturing.
That I mean, like this world
And
is very temporary, and
it,
if we
well,
go,
and
yeah, yeah,
sorry to interrupt you, but I don't want I don't want you to lose. I don't want you to move past the point two. Is that
yeah,
you're
yeah.
assuming that all these people that are tortured end up going to heaven somehow, and that makes up for it. That's not true. Most of the people in your belief system, like most of the people in the world, aren't going to go to heaven,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
So like that, so you can't say that. Well, God's going to make up for it in heaven because He's not going to make up for it in heaven. You're not gonna get anything. A lot of people aren't going to heaven.
A lot of people are not going to heaven. The ones who don't. I mean, like it's not like you don't believe in Allah and you are going in hell. It's like that the message has came to you and you rejected it by. I mean, like you have reasons to reject it. Then you are not questioned in that way. But if you reject it while knowing the truth, that accepting it as a truth, and you reject it, then you are like then you will go to hell. This is the claim that scholars
So
make.
I don't believe in your God at all. In fact, I think he's a barbarian. I think the book is silly. Is he going to send me to hell?
What do you know about the book?
I know enough
About
that it says that women are less than men. You can beat your wives with a
where
rod,
does it say that?
although they
No,
can't
no,
beat
no.
you with a rod. I know that in the hadiths, it justifies Aisha getting married at age 6 and consummating the marriage at age 9.
What was the age of consent in America in
Oh,
1860?
oh, I don't care. This is not a whataboutism that matters to me
Okay.
because
Let
this
it
is
slide.
not a
Let it slide.
whataboutism that matters to me because your God is not
Okay.
bound to time and human beings learn over time, right? So
Okay. Okay.
you can say, listen, it's crazy that it took human beings thousands of years to realize or to admit or to come to terms with the fact that
Think that
marrying children is bad, right? But you can't say that for your God because your God shouldn't have to have his morals evolve over time. Your God should have perfect morals all the time at every point in time.
I mean, like for in Islam there are a set of rules. I mean, like for marriage. Yeah, I'm. 1 minute. Let me like recall it.
Yeah, but in Islam, you're allowed to marry. It depends on where you live. But there are a number of Islamic states right now that are perfectly okay with marrying children. Like, for
The
example, do you think that like in Iraq they lowered the age of marriage to age
I
9? Do you
mean,
think
like
that's acceptable?
uh, I'm saying that if you go like 1,000 years afterwards, and the maturity, like the children's now, like I mean, like if there is an 18 years old
No, I
and he stays,
just hold on a second.
yeah,
You're getting ahead of yourself. I asked you um if you think that children should be allowed to get married at age 9.
no, no, we don't believe that children should be married at age 9 and this and that.
Okay,
We don't have age bounds.
so you would
We
disagree
don't have
with
age bounds.
Iraq.
Yeah, if I mean like it's not like that this person is doing wrong, so the belief system, the faith he believes in is wrong. In Islam there are set of rules that a man should for the that person, the believers should follow for marriage. First of all is the consent of the male and the female,
Yeah, but
the
the
man and the
consent
woman.
we
then
agree that
maturity
you
then maturity and
we
ability.
agree that you should be able to
then
consent. The question at hand is not whether or not consent is vital in Islam. The
no, no,
question is
but
whether or
the
not a
another thing,
9-year-old can consent.
it is in maturity and ability. I mean, like you're saying that 9
Right,
years.
right. Just Just hold on a second. I'm not asking you in Islam if they think that maturity is important for marriage. I'm asking you, can 9-year-olds consent and be mature enough to get married?
If there is an 18 years old and he has the maturity of 2-year old, or I could say 9-year old,
I'm not asking you
uh,
about an 18-year-old
he
that's
should be married.
immature. I'm asking you about a 9-year-old.
I'm just saying that if there is a 18 years old and she has the maturity of 9-year old, should she be married?
No, but I'm not asking you about somebody who has the
If
maturity of
there
the
is a
9-year-old.
9-year
I'm asking you about someone who is in fact a 9-year-old. If somebody is in fact a 9-year-old, should they get married even if they are mature?
yeah, I mean, like, if physically and maturity wise, if she is able to be married, then yeah, she should be
Okay,
married.
so that's what I'm talking about. So you do believe, as a Muslim, you're okay with marrying 9-year-olds as long as they meet your maturity standards. How do you know if a 9-year-old is mature enough to get married?
If a 9 years old, the age of puberty at
So if
the
they hit
ancient
puberty?
times, like, I am saying the age of puberty was the age of maturity. I mean, like, 9 years old are the age of puberty is 9-year old at that time, or I don't know if it's still that, but at that time, that 9 years old mostly were hit puberty.
Well, we'll try this again. How do you know when a 9-year-old is mature enough to get married?
In the Arab standards. That I mean, like, if you go in Arab at 1400 years ago, the, the way of life was so diverse. Like, you
I
have to
know.
go to
I know about 1400 years ago. I'm asking you, how do you know? How do you test to find out if a 9-year-old is ready to get married?
if she's mature
How?
and she's
What
physically
how do you
able.
measure the maturity? How do you know? Cuz you want to know what I
How do we
think?
manage?
I don't think any Muslim countries are testing the maturity of these young women. I think they're saying they're
Who
mature
are,
because they're pedophiles and they look cute. That's what I think's happening. So I want to know the metric. What's the test? What's the metric for determining if a 9-year-old is ready to get married?
for first of all, you know who is mature and who is not. I mean, like, an 18 years old.
No,
How
how?
can I
How do you
say she's
know? How do you know if they're mature enough?
you can know about she
You see the hoops you have to jump through to justify your religion? Like you as a human being in 2025 have to defend marrying 9-year-olds. That's how far your religion has caused your brain rot to go. Whereas a normal person, someone who's not a Muslim, can say, "Yeah, we shouldn't be marrying 9-year-olds."
No, I'm not saying that we should be marrying 9 years old in 2024 right now, because the maturity and the I mean, like, the culture is not in the favor of that.
I
It
know that
was
I know the
the
culture is not for it. The culture has rejected this. Except
yeah,
for
yeah.
Muslim culture. Muslim culture hasn't rejected it. Muslim nations are
You
still allowing you to marry 9-year-olds. Iraq just
which
recently lowered the official age of marriage to 9.
where
Iraq, I just told you.
in Iran the age of marriage?
I
Can you
said
hear me now?
I said Iraq. I can hear you now, Ems.
Yeah. So, maturity is not a condition for marriage.
Okay, what is then?
Could you show me where in the Hadith or in the Sunnah, I mean, generally in the Sunnah or in the Quran or by the scholars, where maturity is a condition for getting married?
Maturity, the physical maturity and the mental
Could you
maturity.
show me that? Because I can show you again from Kitab al-Fiqh al-Islami wa Daliluh, Islamic Fiqh and its evidence. It says directly that the scholars have come to the consensus that not to put a condition onto marriage, physical or mental maturity, because they allow the marriage of the pubescent and the crazy man.
I didn't understand the last part.
They allowed the marriage of the prepubescent and the crazy man, or the mentally insane.
He said. I didn't understand it.
Did you hear him?
Can
Can you hear me?
you say it little, properly?
A
I don't.
person
I
who's
didn't.
a person who's mentally insane can get married in Islam, and a person who's prepubescent can get married in Islam.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there is no condition of mental and physical maturity.
Aden?
I really don't understand what did he mean by that?
He's
I
saying
didn't understand.
in Islam they allow even the mentally insane to get married, which means maturity is not a requirement for getting married. Like, so what he's asking for is, where can you find in the hadith or in the Quran where it says that marrying a woman, she must be mentally mature?
Let me check.
And also, Shafi'i has said that Aisha herself was not mentally mature. He said she was from those who had no say upon themselves. So how have you been, Justin?
Can't complain, buddy. I'm doing really well. What about you?
I'm glad to hear that. I'm pretty good.
Good.
You've been
Good.
gone for too long,
I'm
but I'm glad you've been
sorry.
having fun.
Yeah. Well, my son and I were having a great time, and but
Mm-hmm.
he's back. He's back in school. He's with mom right now, so
Mm-hmm.
we're back to we're going to be doing the standard streaming schedule here moving forward.
And
This
what is
week I'm
that?
out of town though, so I'm kind of got a weird setup. But
Oh,
I'll be live on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights, and then on Sundays I'm going to be streaming on either AXP or the Line. It looks like I'll be like alternating, um, which weeks I'm on which channel. So it looks like my Sunday night streams are probably canceled for the foreseeable future because I'll be streaming on other channels.
that is fair. But I'm glad you're back.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
TikTok has been boring without you, so.
I see there's some streams that that still go live quite frequently. I love watching Joel and Mezzo's stream.
And Ian.
And Ian's stream, obviously, yeah.
Yeah,
Christina,
Ian's my
Thinker.
favorite.
Dude, he's so sharp. I don't know if our guest Adon is going to find the information.
That is usually what happens when you're looking for something that doesn't exist. So
yeah. I assume he's Googling right now. I don't think he's going to find it. We'll find out. Hey, Don, can you still hear us? Don? Hello? Hello? Well, we could drop him and bring him back if he comes back. Hey, Don, I don't think you're going to be able to find the passage you're looking for. So, was that him?
No, go ahead.
Oh, no. Oh, actually, he dropped already himself. He's no longer in the conversation. So he's not coming back. Okay. Hey, thanks,
I'm
Em.
going to drop to you for now. Thank you
Hey,
for having
thanks
me
a
up.
lot, buddy. Appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. WMs. Big W for M's. Oh boy. It looks like in order to get the TikTok stream running, I have to use something other than OBS. I don't think they're letting OBS use stream keys right now, which is why the TikTok stream's not up. It's weird because I've used OBS to stream to TikTok before. I don't know why it won't do it now. I'm gonna get Parallels installed on my Mac here real quick though. And then I'll run it side by side. I'll get that set up here in a minute. Okay, so with that, let me grab our next guest from the queue. I'm going to grab a couple super chats. We'll move right on. Mary, thank you so much for the $20 super chat, Mary. Oh, it looks like it got cut off a little bit. Give me 1 second to see if I can let me change the size of this box real quick so that it doesn't cut off our text. Apologize for that. It's my fault. I don't know why it won't let me change it. Must be like an off-screen pop-up. Cool. Great. So it won't let me change it. Dope. I love that. It's my favorite. I love it when it won't let me change the stuff in real time. Cool. Well, I could just delete the fucker and re-add it. Do that. 1 second. Let me try it now. Nope. Great. Cool. I love it. That's my favorite thing. Thanks, OBS. I tell you, OBS really, really not been my friend today. Kind of sad, actually. I'll have to deal with that in a second. Okay, well, fuck. How do I read the super? I can read most of the super chat. Oh, why do you do this to me? Why? Why can't I? And I don't even have a mouse to. Whatever. I'll just read it. Mary, hey, thank you for the $20 super chat. I appreciate that. Mary says, 2 Samuel 10:27, the Ammonite king gouges out the eyes of the Gadites and the Reubenites and would not grant Israel a deliverer. What sort of deliverer? Why would an oppressed people expect the enemy king to grant them a deliverer? Well, I mean, you asked. All right, let me open up Bible Gateway. I mean, you didn't ask an easy question. Give me a second. There's some shit going on in 1 Samuel chapter 10, and it's not something that you can just easily explain in 10 seconds. So let me open up and we'll read some of it. Okay, so we need to jump in with the context of the passage, which is going to be that Saul. Give me a second to get my browser set up real quick. King Saul is just taking over, like he's just getting in power. There we go. And then I should be able to show this to you on the screen. Blah, 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 blah. Browser here. No, that is, why does it not show browser on the screen? Cool. Yeah, nothing on OBS works. And my right clicks don't work either. Great. Can't show you it on the screen. Okay, cool. All right, well, fuck that. I'll just read it to you. It says, we'll start in verse 17. Saul proclaimed king. It says, Samuel summoned the people to the Lord at Mizpah and said to the Israelites, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I brought up Israel out of Egypt, and I rescued you from the hands of the Egyptians and from the hand of all the kingdoms who were oppressed you. But today you have rejected your God, who saves you from all the calamities and distresses, and you have said no, but set a king over us. So then God relents, and to much of the dismay of Samuel, and says, okay, I'll set a king over you. And then verse 25 says, Samuel told the people the rights and duties of kingship, and he wrote them in a book and laid it up before the Lord. Then Samuel sent all the people back to their homes. Saul also went to his home in Gibeah, and with him went warriors, those hearts God had touched. But some worthless fellows said, how can this man save us? They despised him and brought him no present, but he held his peace. Now Nahash, king of the Ammonites, had been grievously oppressing the Gadites and the Reubenites. He would gouge out the right eye of each of them and would not grant Israel a deliverer. So this is now saying there's an Ammonite force, an Ammonite king, who is attacking the Israelites. He's gouging out the eyeballs of the Israelites. It says no one was left of the Israelites across the Jordan whose right eye Nahash, king of the Ammonites, had not gouged out. But there were 7,000 men who had escaped from the Ammonites and had entered Jabesh Gilead. So the general idea here is that there's a foreign adversary that's attacking the Israelites by gouging out their eyeballs, and they're looking for a deliverer from that entity. They're not looking for a deliverer of their own oppressors, if that makes sense. They're not looking for their own oppressors to deliver them. But if you're reading the passage, it's not entirely clear if you're first time reading it. And Mitch says God created the entire universe full of billions of galaxies in a week, and his main goal is for Israel to prevent. I think for Israel to prevent some point of 1,000 year. What? Oh God. This, I think you typoed here, Mitch, my friend. It says the main goal is for Israel to prevail at some point. There we go. It's prevail. There's this missing space for Israel to prevail at some point, thousands of years later. Yeah, isn't that the crazy thing? Is like the general idea that like we have all of this time supposed to be created by Yahweh, right? But all this stuff is going to exist for hundreds of thousands of years before God actually steps in. Like, why? Why wouldn't you step in from the beginning? Coda says, hey, what's a nerdy Bible fact like my Lord said to my Lord contradiction? A nerdy Bible fact similar to that contradiction? I would really go to Galatians. There's a spot in Galatians which I would plan to show you if I could, if OBS will let me, which I don't know if OBS will let me. Let me see. It should be in Galatians chapter 3. And in Galatians chapter 3, Paul does this really funny thing where he misinterprets the promise made to Abraham because he can't speak Hebrew. So it's very similar to the Lord said to my Lord situation. Let me figure out why can I not right click anything? It's gonna drive me insane. Why is my right click not working? Okay. Okay. There we go. There we go. Now you guys should be able to see my browser. Don't know why that was so hard. Okay, so in Galatians 3, we're going to go to 15 and 16. Paul makes a really goofy argument that could have been prevented if he had actually read the Hebrew Bible. His brothers and sisters, I give an example from daily life. Once a person's will has been ratified, no one adds to it or annuls it. Now the promises were made to Abraham and to his offspring. Notice he says offspring singular. And then he says, it does not say, and to offsprings plural, as of many, but it says, and to your offspring singular, that is to one person who is Christ. So Paul's making this really goofy argument that the promise made to Abraham is actually about Jesus, not about the lineage of the descendants of Abraham, which could have been prevented if he actually had ever read the Bible in Hebrew, because he would know that the word for seed or offspring in Hebrew, zerah, is typically like a collective noun, meaning it usually does represent a plurality of individuals rather than a singular individual. Not that it couldn't represent a singular individual, But his argument rests on the fact that he has only read the Greek Old Testament, which in Greek they do make a heavy distinction between the plural and the not plural of seeds. So there's that. So I hope that answered your question. Let me see. I'm going to get TikTok Studio open here. All right, sign me up. No, I don't want to be signed up. I just want to pay for a Windows license. I don't need to download it. I just want the license. All right. Although I thought I already paid on my virtual. Whatever, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna run it like I have already done it. All right, guys, let me get our I'm gonna load one more super chat. We'll get our next guest in here. We got a super chat from Jimmy that says, what do you think about sacred mushrooms and the plus? Well, I don't know what the plus means, but sacred mushrooms I would definitely take. I think the general idea when it comes to like religious thought is that with the sacred mushrooms, people believe that you can have like a mystical experience with the mushrooms, and that like the mystical experience might cause one to believe in some sort of supernatural or some kind of a god. I personally don't think that that is a compelling argument. I don't think mushrooms leads you to God. I think mushrooms leads you to hallucinations, and because people have hallucinations, they just interpret them as God or spiritual. So yeah, I mean, as cool as mushroom experimentation is, I don't think it gets you anywhere. All right, friends, let me see. Why did TikTok Studio not open when I clicked on it? Try this. Do you want to allow this app? Yep, I do. Is TikTok Studio just not going to run? Is it no longer working? Great. Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. Yeah. Fucking none of the software is going to work today. That's what we need. Okay. Well, we'll just bring in our next guest. I'm going to bring in Don from our YouTube queue. Welcome in, Don. Don, are you with us? Don? 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 Hello? Don? Okay, Don's not with us. All right, we'll hang up on Don and move on to our next one. We're going to grab IND ex-Muslim, it looks like, from the queue. Should be fun. How you doing, ex-Muslim?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing, ex-Muslim?
What's your position? Yeah, I'm good. So my accent is not bit of American.
I think your accent will be all right.
If I messed up in pronunciation or something, please forgive me for that.
Yeah, you'll be fine. I wouldn't worry about it. So are you at least 18 and are you a believer?
Indeed. What's your position? Are you a Christian?
No, I'm an atheist. What God do you believe in?
Like agnostic or a complete atheist?
Well, I'm an agnostic atheist in that like I don't have knowledge of a God, but I also don't believe in a God. Now, that being the case, when it comes to like the formalized God concepts, like the biblical God or the Judaism God or the God of Islam, I'm definitely a hard atheist to those gods.
Oh, all right. When we say God, when Islam we say God, what do you understand by that?
A creator of the universe that's responsible for all things and is going to send people to either heaven or hell when he judges everybody and everything.
As in standard human beings, do we need a creator? That's the question.
No, I don't think so.
Does my laptop need a creator to exist?
Well, your laptop is not a natural formation. Like in your worldview, there's no difference between a puddle and a laptop. In my worldview, I can tell you that a puddle is not created, but a laptop is created. So I can actually distinguish. I can actually distinguish between created and uncreated things in my worldview. You can't.
So What's more complex, your body or my laptop?
I would say neither. It depends on what you mean by complexity, because like I think you're using complexity in
You don't understand.
I think
You
you're
don't
using
understand the word complexity.
I think you're using the word complexity in a way that really stretches the meaning past how I would use it. So
Is it easy to
when you're
create?
saying complex, you're just referring to a large collection of things. But if you just have a large collection of things,
In terms of
basically
creation,
everything in the universe becomes complex.
In terms of creation.
Well, I don't believe there was a creation. Why would I believe there's a creation?
So do you believe in the theory of Big Bang?
Yes, I do believe in the Big Bang. Were you not listening to the caller that came before you that just wasted a half hour on Big Bang apologetics?
Sorry? Pardon yourself?
Were you not listening to the first caller that was a Muslim who wasted a half hour on Big Bang apologetics, and then he couldn't demonstrate the truthfulness of his claim, which is that there is no such thing as an infinite regressive time? Is that the route you want to go?
No, I don't. I don't subscribe to that idea.
Cool. So I do believe in the Big Bang. I believe the universe has always existed in some form or another, and I have no reason to believe otherwise.
Always existed.
Yeah, always. What's the evidence that the universe once didn't exist?
All right. So do you heard the infinite time concept? Or
yeah, I literally just asked you 30 seconds ago if you had an argument against infinite regressive time, and you said no. It sounds like you're not tracking with the conversation.
Let's make it easy. Do you understand our domino effect?
I do, yes, and I know that you think the domino effect is an argument against an infinite regressive time, but it's not.
How is it not?
How is it? Show me how the domino argument makes an infinite time in the past impossible. Like so I'll tell you the same thing I told. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you the same thing.
Time is not a thing. It's not a concrete thing.
I'm going to tell you the same thing that I told the last guest. In order for me to believe that an infinite regress is not possible, you're going to have to bring some sort of an argument. You can't bring incredulity. You can't just say, well, prove that it is possible, right? Like, because as far as we know, there's no beginning or end to the time. That's like the default position. Like you're positing that that something that does exist once didn't exist, and that would need some kind of an argument. Also, you don't believe that there needs to be you don't believe the argument that you're making that all things have a beginning, because you're going to special plead for your God not having a beginning.
Because if gods have a beginning, then he's not a god.
What?
You understand that?
Yeah, but you didn't fix the problem, right?
If a domino doesn't have a beginning, if you're just going
to special plead and say that everything has to have a beginning except for my sky fairy, well, that's called special pleading. I get to say everything has to have a beginning except for whatever naturalistic cause started the movement, like the naturalistic prime mover, right? So like,
that's the point.
So special pleading is not a valid form of argumentation, because I can special plead for something that's not a god. So do you have?
You can call it an entity. You don't have to call him a god.
Well, so you've got two problems.
I'm not trying to prove.
You got two problems. Hey, just listen.
I'm trying to
just stop.
Please listen
stop.
to me.
I'm not. So you've got two problems. Here's what you need to do for your argument to work, right? You've got to do two things. The first thing you need to do is establish that there was once nothing. The second thing you would need to do is establish that you went from nothingness to something because of your God. So which one of those two things do you want to attack first?
Neither.
Okay, so then
you don't let me finish.
So if you don't have an argument for either, how are you gonna? How are you gonna make an argument?
But you are not listening. That's the problem.
I'm listening. Give me an argument for either one of those.
So what I'm saying that the time is an abstract. First, we have to make that clear. Time is not a box or an what is this concrete thing. It's an abstract. It's a concept. So
does it exist?
No, it's an abstract.
So you don't think time exists?
it exists in a mind.
Then how does time dilation work?
But yeah, that's the point. The Sir Albert Einstein used it as a fourth dimension.
We'll try this again.
So
How does time dilation work if time doesn't actually exist?
It exists in a mind.
No. I asked you about time dilation.
I'm not aware of that, to be honest.
Okay, so time dilation is how when you're moving at different speeds, you're experiencing time differently. Like time is relative to the observer, right? So like that's why they say like photons don't experience time. Like this is time dilation, right? This implies that time itself has some kind of existence.
Why people are saying Aisha? What is this?
What is what?
9-year-old.
Don't read the comments. You're not here. You're not here to debate the comments.
I don't understand why they keep bringing the age of Aisha.
Why are you reading the comments? You're not here to read the comments. You're here to talk to me. They're bringing up Aisha because you have a religion that thinks it's okay to sexually assault 9-year-olds. That's why
assault 9-year-olds?
Yeah, because 9-year-olds can't consent. Do you think 9-year-olds can consent?
It's not about the age.
Do you think 9-year-olds can consent?
Yeah, but
it depends on just checking. So that's why they're saying justice for Aisha, because in the modern world we understand that 9-year-olds can't consent. 9-year-olds aren't even. They're not even physically. They're not even physically developed enough mentally to do consent, and they're not physically developed enough. Even if they hit puberty, they're not physically developed enough to be ready for marriage.
What's the age of consent in your country?
Nobody should be marrying 9-year-olds.
What's the age of consent in your country?
It's state by state, but the lowest age of consent
why is it?
The lowest age of consent is 16.
16. Why is it 16? Why not?
There's 20? A lot of reasons why it's 16. One of the reasons why it's 16 is
in India it's 21 now.
Yeah, the reason why it's not 9 is because 9-year-olds are.
I'm not talking about 9. First, we have to.
The reason why it's not 9 is because when you marry a 9-year-old, they're not mentally developed. Their brain isn't even close to being ready to be an adult. And physically, they are in grave danger if they get pregnant. So even if you knock one up, and because she's hit puberty, but she's 9 or 10 years old, she's in grave danger attempting to give birth at that age in her lifetime. It's a very dangerous thing to do, which is one of the many reasons why marrying 9-year-olds should never happen.
Have you studied the history of USA?
Yes, I have, and I won't let you do a whataboutism. What you're doing now is saying what you're doing now is you asked me a question and I'm going to answer it. Do you want me to answer your question? Do you think this is your live stream?
Please finish.
Okay.
Please finish.
So, yes, I do know about the history of consent in the USA. And when it was a young country, it took them a long time to establish an actual age of consent. Now, the problem you have is you're saying, well, look, people, human beings, perverted men in the world once didn't have the same age of consent as we have today. But that doesn't fix the problem. The problem that you have is that your God is timeless. Your God's morals shouldn't change over time. Your God should have had this right all along. Like, we should have looked back and said, oh my gosh, the Quran was right all along, rather than looking back and saying, oh, the Quran is not good. The Quran says that you can divorce prepubescent women.
Where does Quran enter the chat? What are you talking about?
I just told you the Quran gives a waiting period.
Quran and machine gun. No, it doesn't.
It does.
It doesn't specifically tell what age you should marry.
Yeah, it does. The Quran specifies a waiting period for women that are menstrual and women that are premenstrual when you divorce them.
It can vary.
Yeah, I know it can vary. Yeah, and if you're allowed to divorce girls that haven't menstruated yet, what that means is that you're allowed to marry
And
girls that didn't menstruate
it
yet.
says it says here African women have reached puberty at the age of 7. It's an American article. Please let me
I
read.
don't know why you're reading American articles. We're not talking about the morals of ancient or old Americans. We're
It's
talking
by
about them.
it's annotated by
We're
Stephen
talking
Robertson.
about what's in your book. In your book. I don't listen, I'm not advocating for what Americans did 200 years ago. I'm
So your
advocating
framework is Quran.
I'm
You are taking
advocating
your framework as
I'm
Quran. What's your
advocating
framework?
I'm advocating for a moral system from a God that should have known forever that marrying 7 and 9-year-olds was wrong. So it doesn't matter what they were doing in America. I told you 5 minutes ago, this whataboutism is not going to help you. Because I'm not defending what the Americans did 200 years ago. I'm saying they were wrong then, and they were wrong now if they want to do it. But what you have to do is figure out why it's actually not wrong, because in your book, it's okay. Do you understand the problem?
Sir, what's your standard? On what basis are you judging the prophet? I want to know that.
I'm using
first.
science because it puts little girls
Science.
in
Here comes the point.
danger.
Let's read science. That's what I'm doing.
Because it puts little girls in danger when you
That's what
impregnate
I'm exactly
9-year-olds.
doing.
It's
Reading
harmful to
scientifical.
them.
Here.
It's harmful
Let
to them when you impregnate them at age 9 and 10 because they're not actually mentally, emotionally, or physically prepared to become mothers or
I can
wives.
give you from the
No,
hadith,
they're not.
from the Sahih
Then
hadith.
show me. Give me the test. Give me the test that shows how a 9-year-old is mature enough to be a mother. Show me.
You want hadith or science?
Give me the
Which one do you want?
give me the benchmark. Give me the measuring stick.
Choose one. Science or hadith?
Give me the measuring
one.
stick. Give me the measuring stick for determining when a 9-year-old is ready to get married.
It's not about 9-year-old.
It is.
If a woman is,
We're talking about 9-year-olds.
Let me
No,
give you an example.
no, I'm not. If your example doesn't include a 9-year-old, I'm not going to let you fucking do it. So pay attention.
It includes all the women around the world.
So I'm asking I'm asking specifically about 9-year-old girls right now. 9-year-olds right now, what measure can you use to determine if they're ready for marriage? I'm talking about 9-year-olds. Pay attention.
I'll answer.
I need you to stop yapping and answer my question. What is the tool that you can use to determine if a 9-year-old is ready for marriage? And also, keep in mind that the like in the Quran, it doesn't tell you need to wait for them to be mentally mature. You're making that part up.
Let's bring up the hadith and the Quran as well.
So we'll start with the measuring stick. What's your measuring stick for determining if a 9-year-old is ready to get married?
There are not 1, 3. There are at least 4 and 5 conditions.
Well, give them to me. What are they?
All right. First one come from the Quran itself. From Quran chapter 4 verse number 6, and test the orphans in their abilities until they reach the marriageable age. So let's talk about mulagat. Let's talk about mulagat puberty.
You're lying. Yeah, you're lying on the passage.
It doesn't say that. No, it doesn't. You can open up the tafsir. It doesn't say that. It says again, فابتلوا اليتامى حتى إذا بلغوا النكاح. Again, فابتلوا اليتامى حتى إذا بلغوا النكاح. حتى إذا بلغوا النكاح means until they reach puberty. It is talking about when to test the orphans, to give them back their property for inheritance. It has nothing to do with marriage.
Yep.
Sir, your accent is heavier than Batman. What are you saying, man?
Nope.
I was saying that.
The fourth chapter of the Quran is about determining when to give orphans their property back. It's not about marrying them.
Until they reach marriageable age.
It doesn't say marriageable age.
Let me pull it.
It doesn't say marriageable age. It says حتى إذا بلغوا النكاح, which doesn't mean marriageable age.
Nika. What does Nika mean?
It means fucking.
Doofus. Oh man, these people are sick in the mind.
Nika
means marriage, brother.
Means to fuck.
Yeah, keep in mind whether it means marriage or whether it means fucking. It's acceptable to marry 9-year-olds in your worldview, so that's not going to help you.
I'm presenting my presentation and you don't let me finish, and this Batman guy came in and suddenly yapping. It doesn't say marriage.
Why are you screaming?
Dude, I have no
Alright,
idea why this guy keeps
let
screaming. He's
Like
he's not
screaming like
he's not
somebody's
well.
running after him.
alright, let's
Mentally
calm it
insane.
down. Relax, sir. Batman, sir, relax.
Now that is better. Without screaming.
We
Again,
read in
could you show me?
we
Could you
read
show me again? Again, could you show me how in
we
this
read in
context?
Sunan ibn
Again,
Majah. Sunan ibn
could you
Majah.
no, could we
Wait,
stick to the verse?
Batman,
Could we
sir,
stick to the
Batman, sir,
verse?
Batman,
Stick
please,
to the
Batman.
verse. We're sticking to the verse.
Yes, I am here. It
Jamil, the
you say
verse.
is fuck.
4
It's
6.
marriageable age.
Again,
What are you talking about?
where does
What
it
are
say
you
we need to
talking
go
about,
into
sir?
the tafsir?
Tafsir is not our. It's a secondary source. Brother, are you
Jamil, Jamil, it
smoking
is
something
secondary
good or
source.
something?
It is secondary
Are you
source.
smoking
Just a
something?
second. Again,
It's a
again,
secondary source.
again. It is secondary source. The English Quran is not a source. So stick to the Arabic. Go ahead.
Quran is primary. Quran is primary. There
Jamil,
is
and the
nothing
English
above than
and the
Quran.
English again the English translation is not the primary source. So stick to the Arabic Quran. Go ahead.
Nikah. What does nikah mean?
It means to fuck.
Let's
The nikah means to fuck. And in this
You
context,
are
it's not to reach
lying,
puberty.
man. These people are lying.
And you're stupid.
Nikah means marriage.
Ex-Muslim. What's your primary language?
Hindi
Yeah. The person you're talking to right now,
and
Ems,
Urdu. In Urdu.
the person
And
you're
Urdu.
the
Yeah,
person
sure.
you're talking to right now, Ems, his primary language is Arabic. He's an Arabic speaker, born and raised speaking Arabic. And you're an Indian, if I understand you correctly. You're an Indian telling an Arabic speaker what Arabic words mean. Am I hearing that correctly?
Sorry.
Are you a native Arabic speaker?
No, I'm not.
Okay, well, the person you're talking to is.
But I know the word nikah mean.
You're not. You don't.
I do.
Nope.
It's because I also read in Urdu. You know
No,
Urdu?
you don't.
How Urdu works?
Urdu has nothing to do with Arabic. But sure.
This, I know it's a fake Batman, bro.
And Justin, I'm gonna send you something. Put it on the screen.
Urdu has nothing to do with Arabic.
Mm-hmm. And Justin, I'm gonna send you something. Put it on the screen.
Let's read further because you don't want to conceal that. You know you are exposed in front of everyone. And we read in Sunan, bro, please, Batman, sir, Batman, sir.
We're sticking to the verse.
Yes.
Running like a Muslim is not gonna help you. We're sticking to the verse.
Yeah, let me grab the thing that you just sent me. Hold on.
Not the one that I sent a few like an hour ago. This one I just sent it.
Gotcha. Yep. Give me 1 second. I'm going to open this up and put it on the screen. Give me 1 second here. Gotta log into Discord real quick. I hate logging into Discord because it always makes me use the authentication app. One second. You know what drives me crazy about Macs is even in 2025, they have yet to add a number pad on the right side of the keyboard. It drives me literally out of my mind. All right, I'm going to put this on the screen.
Right side at all.
It drives me nuts.
Yeah. So it says أصل النكاح في كلام العرب هو الوط. The origin of the word nikah in the speech of the Arabs is sexual intercourse.
Oh, did you hear that?
That is
DX?
the meaning of the word. And the reason it continues and says,
Yo, can you hear me?
the reason, again, let me finish. And it continues by saying, the reason that we call marriage or zawaj nikah is because it is the contract that allows for permissible sex.
Yeah.
But the origin of the word is sexual intercourse. And in this context, when you open up the tafsir by the scholars, they tell you that the word nikah here means puberty. So it says, until they reach puberty, and it has to do with the orphans being tested before you return the property. So the entire context is, test the orphans, even if they reach puberty, before giving them back their property. It has nothing to do with marriage.
It does. Wait a second.
It doesn't.
You're lying, bro.
And you're stupid.
It does.
Nope. Yeah.
Batman, sir,
I love it when people who don't actually natively speak Arabic tell native Arabic speakers that they're lying about the meaning of the word, and then they read from the dictionary and the etymology of what it means, and you call them liars. That's crazy.
What does the word?
That's like if I told you what a niche English word meant, and you're like, no, you're lying. No, I'm not lying. It's my native language.
Wait. I know because I use this
No,
word.
you certainly don't know. You're pretending to know.
And when I use in an Arabic country, and when I use the word nikah, I'm not
Nikah
telling a person I'm going to fuck you.
here. I'm on dictionary. Here. Nikah
And what?
refers to a legal and sacred contract of marriage between a man and a
And what are you
woman.
reading off?
From dictionary. What are you talking about?
From what?
It involves mutual consent,
You're reading from
mahoon,
what?
dowry, and is usually witnessed by others. It
Well,
gives
what did
both
he say he's
partner
reading
rights
from?
and responsibilities.
What are you reading from?
A legal and sacred contract of marriage between a man and a woman.
And what is the source?
Google
Google
it.
sure,
Nikah.
I got you. How? Huh?
Nikah.
Oh, Nika, I thought you were saying something else. Yeah, again, I gave you a lexicon, which is telling you the origin of the word.
You give me what?
A lexicon.
Sorry?
An Arabic lexicon.
Ems gave you a source from an Arabic lexicon. Do you know what a lexicon is?
Lexicon. No, I'm not aware of that.
Okay, a lexicon is a dictionary, except a lot of times the lexicons will give you the background information on the word, not just how to use the word. It'll actually quite often tell you some of the etymological information for the word, like how the word became used in a particular way. So here, I'll give you an explanation for this. Okay, right? So you're saying that the word nikah in Arabic must refer to marriage because it's used in literature sometimes to refer to marriage. That's called an idiomatic usage. It's not the plain meaning of the word, right? The plain meaning of the word means to have intercourse. That's how the word gets used typically, but you can use it idiomatically to refer to some, piece of marriage. And even like if you just look up on Google, it tells you. It says the meaning of the Arabic word nikah relates to sexual intercourse. So like I don't know what source you're reading from, but even my generic sources agree with the lexicon that Ems is using.
So the thing is, like non-Arab Muslims, they usually refer to marriage as nikah because they're using the usage of it being like referring to the contract that allows you to have legal sexual intercourse, because they do not understand the root meaning of the word. But when you go to Arabic countries, they call it zawaj because they know that saying nikah is literally offensive.
And the other thing I would add too is like none of this fixes your problem, because if the time at which you're allowed to have your nikah, whether it refers to intercourse or whether it refers to getting married, it still only seems to hinge on puberty, which that's what we were already discussing. Just because you hit puberty, it doesn't mean that you're ready to have intercourse or to get married. Puberty is not a good benchmark.
That's what the hadith comes in. Yeah, you are right. That's what the hadith comes in, because getting physically ready is not it's not the only condition of marriage. There are also other conditions that needs to be fulfilled.
It is not one condition. No scholar says that you have to be physically mature for marriage.
Like if you read in Sunan Ibn Majah 2341, there should be neither harming nor reciprocating harm. The Prophet ﷺ said. So you should not harm other or take the harm. So it should be physically capable.
No, but they don't know. That's the problem. They don't think that marrying 9-year-olds is causing them harm. That's the problem. That's the root of our disagreement. Is I'm saying marrying 9-year-olds is harmful, and you're disagreeing with me.
So let's read let me give you an idea.
Do you think that impregnating 9-year-olds is harmful to them?
And also, like the thing about this hadith, like further context, it doesn't mean any harm. There are some harms that are acceptable. It depends on the reason you're doing this thing that is causing harm. So, for example, female genital mutilation, it is a harm, but it is accepted because it is preserving the honor of a woman.
Before I started doing online debates, I never thought I would be spending the majority of my time talking to Muslims about why they shouldn't be allowed to marry 9-year-olds. I never knew this was what my life was going to encompass. It's crazy that we have to do this.
As I said, Islam is like 1,000 years behind. So
Ems, as somebody in the medical professional,
If
I had
a
to.
woman is 21-year-old, sir, listen to
Why?
me.
Why?
If a woman is
Shut
21-year-old,
your fucking mouth. Never tell me to shut up on my own stream while I'm still talking. You're in the wrong place for that. You need to pipe the fuck down. I was asking Ems a question, and you can have 2 seconds worth of patience to let me ask a question to Ems, an actual medical doctor. So Ems, as a medical doctor, one of the things I was always told, like one of the big issues with girls getting married too young, is that when they give birth, like it damages their urethra, and they end up with like urinary tract issues, and it causes like huge problems for them. What are some of the other problems when girls?
I did show you one of those before. I showed you a case of I think she was 15. I put it on the screen before on your page.
I remember. I don't remember what it was though.
Diabetic ketoacidosis, which was caused by gestational diabetes. So she had she had a pregnancy with a guy who was in his 30s. And that caused her to have diabetes without her even realizing it. Gestational diabetes, which caused her, again, blood sugar to rise up and her body shifting to a keto diet or a keto metabolism, causing diabetic ketoacidosis, reducing her pH and putting her in a horrible position, which could lead eventually to coma.
Yeah. So,
and death.
Like, do you understand, Indie Muslim, why it's inherently dangerous to impregnate 9-year-olds?
You talked about science. Let me present you an article.
No, I'm not asking you for an argument. I'm asking you to address my question.
I'm making a point.
No, you're not making a point. You're going to answer my question.
That answers your question. Yeah, I do. I'm with the evidence. It's not on the air fighting. It's not like I'm shooting the arrows in the air. I'm providing you the evidence from your sources, America.
I'm not asking you for evidence. Just stop talking. I'm not asking you for evidence. I'm asking you to answer my question. My question is, do you recognize that impregnating 9-year-olds is inherently dangerous to them?
So you want an answer without an evidence?
I want you to answer my question.
Without an evidence.
Do you believe that impregnating 9-year-olds is dangerous to them?
Let me present to you.
Nope, it's a yes or no question. All right, I'll just mute you. So it's a yes or no question. Do you believe in your brain, what's left of it, that marrying 9-year-olds is harmful to them? Impregnating 9-year-olds. Do you believe that impregnating 9-year-olds is harmful to them?
It's not a yes or no question, sir.
It is. I'm asking you your opinion. Your opinion is a yes or no question. In your opinion, do you believe that it's inherently dangerous to impregnate 9-year-olds?
Sir, let me present it to you.
I don't need a presentation. I need a yes or no.
How many days are in a week? Yes or no?
I need a yes or no. I'm asking you a yes or no question. A yes or no question is today one of the 7 days?
How many days in a week? Yes
That's
or no?
not a yes or no question. I'm asking you a yes or no question. I'm asking you a yes or no question. Pay attention. It's a yes or no. Do you believe?
It's not a yes or no.
Is it your opinion? Is it your opinion that impregnating 9?
Yes or no?
Is it your?
How much? Yes or no?
Is it your opinion that impregnating 9-year-olds is dangerous to them?
In today's society, yes, but in 1,400 years ago, it agrees because the life expectancy of that is 35.
I know it wasn't 35.
Life expectancy.
No, that's not true.
Muslim.
That's a lie.
Could you tell me how old was the Prophet when he died?
He was around 63. When was the Khadija when he died? How old is Khadija when she died? Now my turn.
Again. How old was Abu Bakr? Go ahead.
Around 62. How old is Khadija when she died?
Wait. Let me finish. How old was Umar ibn Khattab?
Not sure.
He was in his 60s. How old was Uthman?
Wait, sir.
Uthman was Habibi again.
Sir,
I'm taking.
How old is Khadija when she died?
Khadija was in her 50s. Oh, not 50s, no, wait. Khadija was, the Prophet got his revelation at 43, and she was 20 years older than him, so she was in her 60s.
Let me wait. Let me present you the article.
No, let me finish.
No.
Let me finish. Uthman, how old was Uthman? He was 83. And how old was Ali?
I
He
know,
was in
I
his
know.
60s.
You don't have to. I
Jamil,
know,
and
I
how old
know.
was Asma? Asma was 100.
I
The
know,
thing
bro.
is, again,
I know.
how old was, for example, Khalid bin Walid? He died of old age. All of them are dying of old age. And again, they were dying because the problem with the age expectancy is that it is skewed by the people who die as children. So, for example, if I have two people, one dies at the age of
Here's the
one,
evidence.
and one dies
Here's
at the
the
age of,
evidence.
again, let me finish.
Here's the evidence. Here's
Let
the
me
evidence.
finish. Let me finish.
Yeah,
If
go
you
on,
have
go
two
on.
people, one dies at the age of 1 and one dies at the age of 69, then again their average would be 35 years old. Does that mean that me saying that the average age of these two people, or the expected age of these two people was 35, is an accurate statement?
You done now?
He asked you a
It was a
question. Were you
but
paying
true.
attention?
Yeah, I do.
What was the question?
He's making a age difference between the age of Mother Aisha and the Prophet Sallallahu
Not
Alaihi
even
Wasallam.
fucking close. Go again, Ems. He wasn't listening.
Yeah, as I said.
And you
Again, if I have two people and one dies at the age of 1 and the other dies at the age of 69, their average would be 35. Is me saying that the expected age of people, or the expected life expectancy of people being is 35, is that an accurate statement?
Oh, I gotta unmute him now.
what you're saying?
How are you
Let the host speak,
this
sir.
unable to listen? He's asking you, if somebody dies at 80 and somebody dies at age 10, what's the average age of death?
80 and 10, 45.
The average, thank you. The average age of death is going to be somewhere in between those two numbers. Referring to the average age of death is not a valuable number for the ancient world because infant deaths counted in that
It does.
mortality rate. Young men dying
Because
in war.
12,000.
Why do you keep talking over everybody? What is wrong with you?
Sorry, bro. Sorry.
Are you
Why
are
you
you
saying
do you
effort?
do you have no emotional regulation? Are you not capable of waiting for someone to speak?
I do, but you
Okay, then
keep
I need
using
you to stop talking over everybody. We're never going to have a conversation if you can't control yourself. That's why you keep getting muted.
Go on.
Now, if people are dying at war at age 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, if infants are dying in birth, those factor into the average age of death, which means you can't say that the average age of death in the ancient world was 35, therefore they had to get married younger. This is not the case. That's not how the averages work. If you subtract the people that were killed in war, if you subtract infant mortality, the average age of death is roughly similar to what it was today.
Keep going.
The reason I chose the individuals that I asked him for is because those were the line of succession for ruling the Islamic Empire after the Prophet. So we literally have the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth president, for example, and all of them lived long lives. And Omar ibn Khattab, for example, when he died at 60, he was assassinated, so he would have lived way longer. And Aisha's sister was 100, and Aisha herself was in her 60s or 70s.
Do you know when Aisha joined a war? How old was she when she was in a war?
She didn't join a war.
She didn't? Let me give it
Nope.
time. You are wrong.
You're gonna give me a
Again, she
hadith
was
when she
12
was giving water.
She was 12 years old.
Again, you're gonna give me a hadith in which she was giving water on the battlefield.
Yeah, and
That is
also,
not joining a war, my love.
it is in the middle of a war.
So if I work as a waiter and I give people food,
And
that is me
she
battling
become
on the
a scholar.
battlefield.
You know, are you aware of that? She's a scholar. She used to answer the problem of the woman around him. You used to have a
Does that mean that she can
problem
be
of periods.
again? Does that mean that she can have sex?
Sorry?
Does me answering a question mean that I am physically capable of having sex?
Host, can you come back? I didn't understand this guy.
If I answer a question Does that mean that I can have sex?
I can have sex. What?
He says if
Am I
you
not?
could, if he can answer a question, does that mean that he's prepared to have sex? Because that's what you're
Repeat it.
insinuating. That Aisha was
No,
prepared to
I'm
have
not.
sex because she was capable of answering a question.
No, it's talk about her mental health. How is she mentally fit? Because she become
Yeah,
a
sure.
greatest
We
scholar.
can go to the scholars. Shafi'i said that Aisha at the time of marriage and at the time of consummation was from those who had no say upon themselves and was prepubescent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you are saying something?
Were you
I
listening?
said, Shafi'i has said that at the time of marriage of Aisha and at the time of consummation, she was from those who had no say upon themselves.
Sir, with all due respect, I don't want to, I don't understand your accent.
I'm just gonna shut up.
It's okay. Well, listen, ex-Muslim, I think this conversation has gone about as far as we need it to go. I've got other people waiting to get in. And
Please don't use F word, please.
and
Please
what word?
have some respect. F word.
What word? I didn't. Also, fuck you. Don't
You
tell me how
did.
to talk on my own podcast. I don't let people who justify marrying children tell me
And
what I can and
you
cannot
didn't.
say. Just so
You didn't.
we're aware on this. Nobody who advocates marrying 9-year-olds is allowed to tell me what words I can and cannot use on my own stream. So, listen, we got like better people waiting in the queue, I assume. I at least I'm assuming. This is a huge assumption. I'm assuming that the people waiting in queue are brighter than you. So, I'm going to move on, okay? Do you believe these people?
No, but I think I have problems with my mic. For some reason, the volume isn't going up. But
I
I'll
don't
figure it out for next
I
time.
don't think it's you. I don't think he's really good at speaking English to begin with.
A lot of people said that the volume was off. But
Really?
anyways, thank you for having me up again.
Ems, you're the best,
Thank you,
buddy.
Justin.
I appreciate
Bye-bye.
it. Cheers. I think I've got the TikTok stream ready to rock and roll. I'm going to start it real quick and see if I've got enough processing power to run TikTok right now. And it looks like it's going to run for me. Yeah. All right, we should be live on TikTok now. We'll track it, see if it gets laggy on us. Hopefully it doesn't get laggy on us. But let me grab a couple of super chats. We'll get our next guest in here. Randy, thank you so much, Randy, for gifting out 10 Deconstruction Zone memberships. I super appreciate that. That is huge, friend. And Randy as well, sending a $30 super chat. Big W, Randy. Says, is Mary, the mother of Jesus, a descendant of David? If not, Jesus would not be a descendant of David. Well, okay, so this is the case. Mary is not a descendant of David. Her sister is listed as one of the daughters of Levi. So she might be of the Levitical stock. The lineage in Matthew and the lineage in Luke chapter 3 both go to Joseph. Neither one of those mention Mary. I don't exactly know what led people to this bad hermeneutic that one of the genealogies was for Joseph and one is for Mary, but it's simply not true. All you have to do is read the two genealogies, and neither one of them go to Mary. And if the genealogies only go to Joseph and Joseph wasn't actually the dad, then it's kind of a useless genealogy. Just saying he's the adopted dad is kind of a meaningless theology. Edward, thank you for the $10 super chat. Says, Lament of Justin by Edward. The alien said unto thee, words don't mean words, and Justin tore his garments and put on sackcloth. Yes, that would be a proper lament for these live streams. Big W, Edward, appreciate that. And missing jot and tittle, big W on the name, says Matthew 16:28, second coming, not transfiguration, right? Nailed it, yeah. Matthew 16:27-28 clearly about Daniel 7 coming on the clouds of glory to judge, and it simply didn't happen. The transfiguration is a cope. John says, hey, Justin, do you think Doug has delivered a savior to Cleveland in the form of Shadur? No, I don't. Do I like Shador? I can warm up on him. I think he's an okay kid. Do I think he's gonna turn the franchise around? No. I mean, a good quarterback can do a lot, but in real life, you need a whole team. You need a good defense. You need a good offensive line. You need good pass protection. Like, if you have the best quarterback in the league, but he only gets 1 second to throw the ball, it's useless. Like, you got to protect your quarterback. So I think if you have a really, really good team, you could win Super Bowls with a mediocre quarterback. But I think it'd still be difficult. You need a good quarterback. John says, Justin, start asking Muslim callers on a scale of 1 to 10 how many times they visited Epstein Island and what Chuck E. Cheese they met their wife in. Oh, I should actually. I should ask the Muslim callers if Epstein did anything wrong. I'm curious what they would say. Pat says your God is imaginary because Doug don't play that. Doug does not play. Doug's not imaginary, guys. Thank you, Pat. Doug's not imaginary. You guys have seen Doug actually with your own eyes. You know that Doug is real. So there's no question there. All right. I've got TikTok running now. Everyone should be able to see me on TikTok. Let me double check my app to make sure it shows me live. It does show me live. Okay, so we are live on TikTok now. I don't know if we have any guests in the guest queue on TikTok. And I don't know if my guest queue even works. There we go. The guest queue is open. It looks like it's open and running now. Let me pull in a TikTok guest and we'll make sure that the audio works and everything. Yeah, I'll make sure the audio works. Let's see if this works because I'm using a virtual machine for this. How you doing, John? 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 Yep, can you hear me? John? It sounds like it's just a little bit. Yeah, I think it's just delayed. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and you. Oh, yeah, it's really delayed. I don't know if it's him or if it's me, if I'm pushing this computer too much. Let me try one more and see if it's still delayed. Because I might have to up my virtual machine settings. How you doing, human? It sounds what? Oh, my mic sounds like a robot? Interesting. You can hear me though, right? Okay. It doesn't seem like it's delayed either. Can everyone on YouTube hear the guest? We'll give them a second to see if they can hear you, but I assume so. Actually, they might not be able to hear you. Give me 1 second to, I'm going to add an audio source real quick. 1 second. Yeah, I apologize, guys. I need to add an audio source real quick. 1 second. No, actually, you're okay. You're okay. Dun, 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 dun. I got to figure out how to do this on a Mac. I could use a media source, input, blah, 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 blah. I might have to work this out still yet. I might have to work. Oh, here we go. Here's audio output capture. That's what we wanted. Yeah, we could do that. Perfect. I'm going to do audio output capture. Then I'm going to select. If it'll let me. Nope. Oh, they don't let me use that function anymore yet. I can't do audio output capture. All right. Well, that being said, I don't know if I take TikTok guests just yet. I'll work on this setup for the future. on this computer, and we'll have to work on that down the road. But at least the TikTok stream is up and running now. I apologize. But there's a link on the screen. If you want to join, you can join using the link on the screen and get into the conversation. I just have to work out a few audio settings before I can take guests on TikTok because I'm streaming to multiple platforms. And so there's like some audio sharing that has to happen. You know what I mean? Oh, actually, there might be this guy. Hold on one second. Oh, shit. Hold on. That might have done it, actually. Say something now for me, guest. Oh, that didn't... It did. I can hear you, but it didn't actually pick up... It didn't actually pick up your audio. Let me try something else, actually. All right, what about now? Go ahead and give it a shot.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, they should have been able to hear you now. Did you guys hear him over on YouTube? We'll give them a second to catch up. They should respond here. I think there's like a 20-second delay between the stream and the YouTube comments. Takes a little bit of time to get the feedback. TikTok feedback is really fast, actually. But they should have been able to hear you that time. Yeah, they heard you that time. Dope. We're good to go. Okay, we can take TikTok guests on the stream now. Cool. All right, so Silly Human, are you at least 18 and are you a believer?
No, I was just to test the sound.
Oh, hey, thanks. I appreciate that, buddy. Big W.
Or maybe look at the trees and you will find God or something like that.
You know what? There's some trees outside the window. I'll give them a look after the stream, let you know how it turns out. All right, cheers, buddy. So some people are saying the audio quality on TikTok is not great. Is that what I'm hearing? I think I know why. What if I do... Well, actually, I don't know why. Good question. I wonder if it's not picking up the right microphone on TikTok. Give me 1 second. Check which microphone it's... There's only one microphone actually installed at all. What if I turned it up? Is it better now? We're gonna convert it to mono. Save that. Let me know how that does for you guys on the audio end. If that's any better. Nope. Interesting. There's got to be, it's obviously some setting. Oh, I see the problem. Hold on. Okay, what about now? Is the audio any better? On my virtual machine, there's a couple different ways to put audio in there. Yeah, that's better. Cool. I think it was picking up the audio from my computer rather than my microphone on my virtual machine. So I think we should be good to go. All right, with that, we've got a couple people that have been waiting for a long time in the guest queue on YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and get, I can't read the name. It looks like Small Jex, Smeek Jex, maybe. I apologize. The text is so small, it's hard for me to read it on the screen that I have, but I'm doing my best. How you doing? Is it Smack?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, you sound pretty good.
Okay, small checks. It's Norwegian for tiny biscuit or little biscuit.
All right, I'm just. Can I call you Biscuit because I love biscuits?
Yeah. No, it's gonna be a short call anyway, I think.
Oh, they can't hear you on TikTok. Of course, they can't hear you on TikTok. Let's see. Second. TikTok is not picking up my desktop audio, which is rare. It usually by default does that because it's in a virtual machine. However, the virtual machine itself isn't gonna grasp the audio, but I think there might be. This is what happens when you're trying to run on. I'm on a Mac right now, so I'm on a
Yeah,
Mac
I
right
heard.
now, and I'm trying to run Windows in a virtual machine, so I can still run TikTok Studio because TikTok Studio doesn't run on Mac.
I remember when you had to do boot camp to do Windows on a Mac.
Yeah, dude,
I don't know.
those days are beyond us. But anyway, so it sounds to me. I know why they can't hear you though. Give me 1 second. I can fix this. All right. What about now? Can you guys hear the guest now?
Tra la 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 la, talky talky talk, mic check.
Let's see if they caught that. No, they still didn't hear it. Of course not, because it's not picking up my desktop audio. All right, guys. I'm afraid the TikTok stream is going to be shut down for the day. I'll work on the cross audio. I'll be home this weekend on my regular streaming studio, and we'll have everything up and running. But for now, we're just going to have to do a YouTube only live stream today. Sorry, guys. Love you. All right, we're sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay, so I mean we're back in action. So let's go ahead and get into it. Biscuits, are you at least 18 and are you a believer?
Yes and no. I just have a quick question.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know if that's okay.
Yeah, I mean you're already up here, so might as well.
Okay, so I just want to ask, like, many of the arguments against the holy origins of the Bible come from contradictions and mistakes in the text from one to the other. So I was just wondering if you have like a passage you think that, from the Bible that most reveals a lack of continuation from one author to the next, and how it's possible for such a thing to occur. Like, why don't the authors understand the original intent? And that's all that's all I want.
Well, it's a good question. I think the biggest glaring issue between the Old Testament and New Testament is in regards to what to do about the law. So in the Old Testament, it clearly states that the law is forever. It says it's eternal. It even talks about how the rituals are perpetual forever. And then you get to the New Testament, and even Jesus is like, yeah, until heaven and earth pass away. Not one jot or tittle is going to pass away. And that's Matthew 5. And then you get this weird thing where Paul comes around and Paul completely contradicts it. No, law was temporary. It's been done away with. The rules and regulations, as it said in Ephesians chapter 2 and Galatians chapter 3, have been completely done away with, which to me is a huge departure to my law is perfect and eternal, but now it's actually temporary and it was imperfect. And most of Christian theology hinges on you'd need Jesus because the law wasn't good enough.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I just was there a sort of restriction on who was able to, like, the flock that was listening in on the sermons? Were they, did they have the text available to them, or
Oh,
were they just listening to whatever people said, or like, how would you not be able to point out the thing yourself and say, hey, that's not what the old law says, and how can you just say that it's temporary now?
yes, great question.
Like,
So the reality is, most people weren't reading the text. They not only could they not read, they didn't have access to them. A lot of it was distributed via like local teachers or traveling speakers, like traveling philosophers and sophists and people that just like we have traveling preachers today, they had them back then. And that's how a lot of them were getting information. Like you didn't have like a copy of the Tanakh or the prophets just sitting around in your home. And
yeah.
so it was a low information age, and it was easy for people to believe something was in the book that wasn't actually in there, because how are they going to go check?
Yeah, so was there sort of like a two-class system? You had the people who can read, and they're okay with it, or did they just trust the higher ups? Or like, I have a hard time understanding the continuity of the church compared to the sort of like how does it perpetuate when you have these issues that seem so glaringly obvious, like in contradictions and this is Jesus just lying, and this is just Jesus failing to fulfill the prophecy, and like it. As an atheist, to me, it seems almost like it's too easy. Like, how can this possibly be? How can the issues in the Bible be so clear and so terrible? Because I've been listening to you for a couple of days and a couple of weeks now, and it just seems so hard to reconcile. And you know, it seems like such a layup for me as an atheist. So I want to I want to try to test where how how weak the case is. It seems too weak. It seems like you're making too good of a case against against the Bible. Is what I'm saying. It seems too
Yeah.
easy.
So the problem is, most of the people that are like from the New Testament era, they were looking at the Old Testament and saying these words don't mean what they actually mean, right? They're looking at the prophets and saying, well, the prophet talked about this, but what he actually meant was that. And so they're just like, if you read the Dead Sea Scrolls, there's quite a few instances where they're taking Old Testament prophets and they're just reinterpreting them to be about their time period, right? So if you already believe that this book is from God and the prophecies and what's in it can't be failures, then and then it looks like they're failing, then what you do is you go back to the book and you have to start reinterpreting it, right? Well, what it says here is actually secret. It's got a secret hidden meaning, right? So the Christian movement, the reason why they get away with this type of stuff is because, first of all, they're disconnecting their theology from the context of the Old Testament. They're saying our stuff is true, but it's like spiritually true. We have the deeper actual meaning. The Jews got it wrong because they're reading it literally. We got it right because we've got a spiritual interpretation of it, right? And so that's how they get around a lot of these glaring theological contradictions, because they'll be like, well, it doesn't mean what it actually says. It actually means this. But they have no good like measuring stick for determining who's allowed to arbitrarily determine what the extra or the additional meanings are.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I've gotten what I wanted, and I'll let you move on to the next person. And yeah, thanks for doing what you do. It's
Sure thing.
really entertaining, and I learn a lot from watching your streams.
Great to hear from you, man. Cheers.
Bye.
Dope. And we got 2 more super chats, and we'll get our next guest in here. Hammond, great to see you today. Says, hi, Justin. Glad you're back. Hope you continue cooking theists. Have an awesome day. Well, Hammond, that's what's likely to happen. And thank you for stopping by and saying hi. Also from our friend Peter, says, hey, Justin, hope your vacation went well. Still on mine in Minnesota. Well, congrats on that. I hope you're having fun. Just checking in to say much love and that readers are leaders. Read. Few statements would I agree with more. I agree. Readers are leaders, 100%, absolutely. Make sure you do your reading, guys. If you want to know more than Christians about the Bible, you don't you don't even have to read scholarship. You literally just have to read the book. Like that's all you have to do. They're not reading any of it. All right, let's get our next guest in here. I think it's going to be Don again. I tried to get Don in here earlier, but I don't think he was prepared. We'll try it again. Don, are you with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, welcome in.
Fantastic, thank you. Based on the last guy, I guess you are taking some questions from people that are atheists, right?
This is a debate. Like, I was charitable to him, but if I keep doing this, the whole stream's going to turn into atheists asking questions. So at some point, I have to put my boundaries down.
Yeah, I get it. I just had if you want to kick me, I totally understand. But my question is just mainly I wanted to chat about infinite regress and like an argument that I'd had with a theist in regards to it. If you want to engage in that, sure. If not, I appreciate your time and we can try and connect in some other way.
Like, are you trying to be devil's advocate? What are you working on?
In a way, I guess. Yeah, maybe devil's advocate. So I would say I'm an agnostic atheist, but
Well, we don't do that.
I
I don't take people doing devil advocate arguments. I only debate people who actually believe it.
Okay, I mean that's fair. And I mean, I guess it's not necessarily devil's advocate, but like, are you willing to take my question, or should I just drop?
Yeah, I'm just gonna move on. Okay, sorry.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you for your time.
Cheers. No, at least he was honest. All right, we're gonna get Jason from the queue. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link on the screen to join the guest queue, or you can look at the description of the video. And in the description of the video, you'll find a link that you can click on to join the queue. So, love to hear from you, Jason. Can you hear me?
I can.
Jason,
Can you
I
hear
don't think
me?
your microphone's working, or something's not quite right. Jason,
Yeah,
hello,
I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Jason.
Ah,
No, okay. Sorry, Jason. I don't know what's going on with your equipment. Maybe reload the browser. See if that fixes it. Wait, you guys heard him? How the hell did you guys hear him? What? That's crazy. How did fucking hate Max? How did you guys hear the guest and not me? That's crazy. I'm gonna have to eventually buy like a Windows laptop to stream from when I'm not at home. We'll try this again. Jason,
can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. I don't know what
Okay.
happened there. I don't
And
know
the
why I
audio,
couldn't hear you.
I
Anyways,
don't know. I just reset everything.
yeah, welcome in.
Thank you. Where to start?
Yeah,
Everybody's different in their viewpoints.
well, I'll
It's
give
a
you the
hard.
starting point. We usually start out by just stating which God you believe in.
I'm not sure what God is, and I think all religions are actually trying to understand, and they all worship the same thing. They just don't understand what they worship because God isn't understandable. You, have you ever heard that? That
Yeah, but
God's not
if God's not
you
understandable,
can't.
how do you know that God exists?
So let me ask you a question.
Right, but
I'd
I just
love to
asked
ask
you
the
a
viewers too.
question. The question is, if God is not capable of being understood, then how do you arrive at the conclusion that God does in fact exist?
If Lucifer existed, wouldn't
It's like
God
I just
exist?
did you not hear my question?
I did, but I'm getting to a point. I can't prove God. I can prove Lucifer.
But I'm not asking about Lucifer. And no,
And I actually think
I don't
Lucifer
think
is
you can prove
Jesus.
Lucifer either.
I think Lucifer is Jesus.
Lucifer's not Jesus.
I I
You're going to make a
I believe
spurious
he.
correlation between Isaiah 14 and Revelation.
Let me go to what proves it.
No, sure. We'll try this. Prove Lucifer or whatever you think Lucifer is, and then we'll go from there.
Somehow or another, he is here. He is an entity of the Bible,
But
but
we'll
from
prove
my
it.
experience of him, he is not.
Yeah,
He's not an evil one, but
that's the
he
thing
is
that you
going
need.
against
That's the thing you
God.
need to
He is
prove
the
still yet.
adversary. He is the adversary,
That's the thing
and
you
he's
still have to
telling
prove
his
yet.
story.
You haven't proven any of that yet.
I'm going to get to it. He's here telling his story, and I think people are selling their souls for it. I don't
Listen,
understand it
I'm not
fully
asking you
myself.
what you believe. I'm asking for the evidence.
The evidence is in every band that has music and
That's
what
not
they're singing
evidence.
about.
That's not evidence.
It's so Nirvana wouldn't
That's
be
not
a state of
evidence.
heavenly mind. Soundgarden wouldn't be
None of those
God
things are
speaking the word and
evidences.
creating it. But do you listen to the words?
Jason, no popular bands are evidence that Lucifer exists. Popular bands riffing on Lucifer are doing it to make fun of you. They're making fun of your religious
How
beliefs.
come everything in this world, all the movies,
They're not.
maybe not every single one, but 95%, every
No,
one of them
no, they're
is
not.
referencing God, angels, demons, vampires, werewolves, which are the angels, demons. It's a viewpoint. It's
Because our
religion, and
culture believes in
spiritual.
spiritual entities. That's why spiritual entities end up in movies.
It's a battle between Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu.
It's not a
Inky
battle
and
between
little
any of those. You're
Anu.
supposed to be talking about Lucifer right
That
now.
is
Stay
Trinity.
on task. Pay attention.
I
You're supposed to be
am.
talking about Lucifer.
Listen, some people believe in aliens and that's their world, and maybe God doesn't exist. Some do believe in God and they believe in aliens, whatever. Aliens are the angels,
Buddy,
and
we're
I'm
still
not
talking
sure
about
exactly what
Lucifer.
game we're in, but this is some kind of game between the right and left hand of
Listen,
God, the
stop
angels
telling
and
me
the
what you
demons.
think it is. I'm not asking you what you think it is. I'm asking for the evidence that the thing is.
Well, if you don't understand the basis understanding that the Trinity exists, two of them are battling, like Thor and Loki. It's in those ancient stories that somehow
I
or
don't
another
believe those
real,
ancient
because
stories are true.
that's being told still today in our
I
society
don't
through all
believe
these
those
movies.
ancient stories are true. Like, you can't
Why
just
would
keep
it still?
Jason, just stop talking.
Listen,
Stop it.
I
I'm not gonna.
know,
No,
I
I'm not gonna
understand.
listen.
I'm
Jason,
trying to.
Jason, if you don't stop talking, I'll mute you. Do you want to get muted?
Go ahead,
Okay.
say what you got to say. I'm trying to prove a
Jason,
point and
stop talking. You
show a
haven't. You
viewpoint.
don't understand what proving means. Just pay attention for 5 seconds. Okay. Stating what you believe is not an argument for what you believe being true. I don't want to hear any more of nonsense about different things that you believe. I want you to start with
Okay.
this is why
Okay.
I believe it, right? So if I told you I believe that I have a God and my God is a can of Diet Coke, and I ask you why you believe that, well, the next phrase out of your mouth should be why Diet Coke is God. It shouldn't be more about Diet Coke being God. It should be why Diet Coke is God. So your initial claim is you can prove that Lucifer is real. I'm still waiting for an argument that results in Lucifer being real, and I haven't heard one yet.
So in the Vedic religion, they believe in Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu.
I'm
There's a
not
Trinity.
asking you about Hinduism. I'm asking you about Lucifer from the Bible.
I'm trying to point out who Lucifer is and how that connection is here all around us. So Shiva's the blue, Brahma's the red, and Vishnu is the purple.
No.
Brahma's red because he's supposed to be the demon.
Nah.
Shiva's the
Nope.
reptilian.
Nope. Don't care. None of this is about Lucifer.
That is the sun and the moon.
All right, Jason, listen, I think you need to lay off the magic mushrooms, because this is not a good place for you to be. You've stumbled into the wrong live stream. You have literally no idea what you're doing right now. You're literally embarrassing yourself on a public platform in front of 2,000 people.
It's not.
I'm asking you about Lucifer. Lucifer is a title that comes from the Levant. Lucifer is an ancient Near Eastern concept. I'm not asking you about Brahma. I'm not asking you about Vishnu. I'm asking you about Lucifer. Pay attention.
And that's Shiva.
I don't. Religion. No, I don't believe any of those exist. You can't prove that Lucifer exists by pointing to another fake religion.
It's a basis, so you understand the red.
It's not a basis. It's a different mythology. You can't point to another fake mythology as proof that your mythology is true.
Boss, I want to lead you to the science behind it
If the
now.
science doesn't
Because
go to
those
Lucifer, you're in the
angels,
wrong place.
it does.
Then show
Because
me the
those
science
angels,
that demonstrates that Lucifer exists. Also, keep in mind that
I
Lucifer
will.
is not a real character in the Bible, just to be clear.
No, he's part of a trinity that they keep
No, he's
changing the
certainly
names
not.
of and viewing the point of.
No, there's
But
no Lucifer Trinity.
Shiva is blue, and Shiva is a shape,
No
and
one
she is
cares
also
about the color of Shiva. We're
vibrational
talking about Lucifer. Lucifer has nothing to do with Hinduism. There's no Lucifer in Hinduism.
It's the same character,
It's not the
boss.
same character. It's not real. Just so you're aware, you can't prove one fake mythology by referencing another fake mythology. I already told you this. Jason, I don't care. You have to find something other than another false religion to prove your current false religion.
It's not a false religion. It's literally talking to us. It's why it's called lucid dreaming.
But it's not. Lucid dreaming is a different language.
It's not. I've done plenty of research.
No, you
the
haven't.
Science of geometry,
You
color,
have not.
Scientific experiments. What they're revealing that sound is God. It's the everything. It's what makes
sound is
us
not God.
exist.
No, you're incredibly confused.
We are the dust in the wind.
But your brain is dust if you believe this nonsense. This is embarrassing nonsense. What kind of
it's not something that just came to me, brother.
It didn't come to you. No, this is nonsense. This is nonsense babble. This is nonsense pareidolia. You don't have a single speck. You don't have a single speck of science to. Of course, listen. The amount of babble from these people. All right, friends. It has occurred to me that for some reason in my OBS setup, I'm only seeing the super chats from the vertical stream, and I'm not seeing the super chats from the horizontal stream. Don't know why that's happening. If I missed your super chat from the horizontal stream, I apologize, friends. I don't know why it's not showing them. It's weird that it would do that. I'll look into it. I did go into my stream. I do see that I've got a super chat from Mindful Barbarian for $20. Thank you so much, Mindful. I appreciate that. Mindful says, my brother Josh Barba and I have a great time listening to your stuff at work. We got a bunch of laughs out of the fake Dr. John from a few days ago. You didn't cook him. You burned him into charcoal. Praise Doug. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Mindful Barbarian. And I'm sorry that I didn't see your super chat sooner. I'll see if I can get my system working again so I can get the super chats to show up on the screen like they're supposed to. It might be fixed now. I think I've got it fixed. Because I see one that just came in now on the horizontal stream from St. Brush that says, Boss, Lucifer is Shiva. He's blue. Listen. I know humans are really good at finding patterns and stuff, but holy shit. Lucifer's real because Shiva's blue it's a wild argument. It's crazy. And Mindful Barbarian, there we go. We got it working. Now, if only I can get the last step of this process fixed and get the resolution fixed up real quick. 1 second. Get the resolution fixed up on this super chat window. So we can see all of it. All right, I think we can actually see all the super chat now. But bada bing, bada boom, we finally got it. Although it's cutting off the bottom just a pinch. Let me grab just 200 more pixels. Let's see. There we go. Now we should be able to display it. Thank you so much, guys, for the super chats. I'm sorry I missed some earlier on because my system was acting up. I'll be home soon. I'll be back this weekend, and I'll be back on my normal system. We'll have everything rocking and rolling. Libra says, hey, Justin, catching you live since I've still got about Of 45 to work. Thrilled to be here. I smelled barbecue and knew you were cooking again. Haha, love barbecue. You've made my day. Praise Doug. Well, thank you, Libra. I really appreciate that. And listen, I love some barbecue. I mean, it is, of the many food groups, it deserves its own special spot on the pyramid of foods. The last one from Libra again says, Jason, you can prove neither God nor Lucifer. You cannot say that religious worships the same things because they do not. Entertainment isn't evidence of your beliefs. I recommend actual research. It's crazy to me that people will, like Jason, will see like people mocking his religion by like pretending to worship the devil and think that that is now evidence that the devil is real. It's the craziest mindset these people have. All right, Nicholas, I believe, is next in our queue. So let me grab Nicholas out of the queue and we'll get him into the discussion. How you doing, Nicholas?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing?
I can hear myself double.
Oh, you can hear yourself double?
Yeah.
Huh. That's weird. Your headphone setting looks messed up. It shows you have no headphones, but I know you have headphones because you're wearing them. Let me refresh your headphones. Try refreshing your browser, see what happens.
But then what will happen?
I don't know, but I'll bring it right back up if it cuts you.
Did it work?
I mean, I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me okay?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
I think we're okay. Okay.
And also myself.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it's okay. So, I believe in God. And it started with a personal experience. Oh, it's so annoying.
I know. It's super annoying
2
that
seconds.
it's doing that to you.
Let me do this instead. Is it better?
Maybe. What about now?
Okay. I can still hear me twice, even if I don't have.
It shows your AirPods are still on. Let me switch it.
What?
All right. What about now?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the echo should be gone.
No. Oh yeah, now it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was feedbacking between your iPad and your headphones.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, good. So I believe in God, and specifically the Trinitarian God. And the reason is, first, I got a personal experience, and I didn't believe in God before that. And at first, I didn't know anything about Christianity at all. But I've always been searching for truth, and I've been searching for life's biggest questions, like why are we here, and what's the point of life, and what's the meaning of life, and so on. And I had this experience. I dreamed, and I dreamt of ultimate truth. And it's kind of hard for me to explain how such a dream could be explained. It's an experience, and I can't really explain it. I just know it. So right away when I woke up, I wrote it down because I wanted to, all the knowledge or whatever, I wrote it down because I wanted to use it maybe in a book, because it was so profound and so life-changing, just a dream. And then I wrote it down, and for a long time I didn't look at it. And then I got this pull to read the Bible. And
So I do love talking about the Bible, but I want to make sure we don't lose track of the dream situation, because I don't fully know how your dream, like, gets you to
Yeah,
believe in God yet.
yeah, I understand. And even myself, I don't know how, because
So,
it's just, and experiences can sometimes be hard to explain.
well, you know, religious dreams happen to people in all religions. Like, there's been
Yeah,
people
I
who
believe.
dreamed and became Islamic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So I believe that the spiritual realm exists.
sure,
And
but
the reason why,
what would be the evidence of that outside of your dream?
yeah. So when you start with an axiom, you know what an axiom is, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. If I start with an axiom, before I believed the Bible, I started with an axiom that love must be the foundation.
Foundation of
And
what?
the world,
Why would you have that axiom?
because I believed in good and evil before I believed in God.
Right, but you would still need to demonstrate that good and evil exists.
Yeah,
Because like love seems to be a chemical reaction in the brain.
yeah. That's not what I say love is.
Well, what do you think love is?
Um, I think the definition of love is selfless, sacrificial, patient, and truth-seeking. That's the Bible's definition of love.
Can you do those things without love?
What?
Can you do those things without love?
Yeah, that's
Like,
the whole
can
point.
you seek truth without love?
It's a part of love based on the Bible.
I'm asking, can you seek what is true without love?
I would say you are doing love when you're seeking truth.
So it sounds like you're just redefining what love is. You're just saying love is these things, which means the definition is no longer really relevant to our discussion, right? Because I could say
I mean,
love is Coke Zero.
yeah, so definitions of word changes. So the definition of love has been changing since the Bible has been written.
Well, I
But the,
don't really disagree with that. I think the definition of love does tend to change from generation to generation.
so you didn't, what you said?
I said I
You
don't
disagree?
disagree with you. I
Okay,
think
good.
each
Yeah,
generation kind of like defines what they think love means.
yeah. That's what I mean. So the word love has changed. It doesn't mean the same thing anymore. So when I say love, I mean selfless action, sacrificial, and patient and truth seeking. So when somebody seeks truth, they are in alignment with the love from the Bible. The
Well, I would
definition of
disagree
love,
with that
that's
assessment,
okay.
right? So like I think that that I love people and it has nothing to do with the Bible. Like why would I
Yeah,
include the Bible in that equation?
I mean, again, my definition based on the Bible is that love. I mean, you could speak about another definition of love, and that's okay. But if we're not speaking about the same definition, we're not talking about the same thing.
Well, is it loving to own slaves?
What do you mean? Say
Is it
again.
loving to own slaves?
If it depends on what the word slave means.
To own people as property?
Yeah, again, it depends on the context.
Was there ever a context in which it was loving to own people as property and treat them like property?
Yeah, yes,
Can you
because
describe
words.
what that is?
For example, God, he hates Esau, but words change. So in Old Hebrew, hating means not choosing. So that's one
No.
example. It does.
What's the Hebrew word for hate?
I don't know specifically what the Hebrew word, but it's something I've been checking
It's
on.
sine, and it doesn't mean to. It just means to hate or to dislike.
Yeah, but again, when you look at it, you look it through again, you translate it to English, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, and then you get the word hate. Hate in the Bible is not the same hate as we know hate today, like love is not.
No, I think it is.
That's okay. But then we're not speaking about the same thing.
No, we are. The Hebrew word "sene" means to
Yeah.
hate. That's just what it means.
Yeah, okay, let's go from that, because I don't know Hebrew, and I don't think you do either. So.
No, I did. I learned it in school. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So is that the word used?
There's three words. There's three words for hate. I think "sene" is the most common form. It shows up like 300 times.
Yeah. And anyways, it's not a Hebrew discussion. I don't know Hebrew, so it would be stupid for me to begin to talk about Hebrew. It's not my point, and it's not important. It's because it's not the word thing. So you asked me about the slaves, and there is a setting where slaves is a good thing.
Yeah, I'm asking you. Yeah, can you describe when it's good to own another person's property? That's what I'm asking for.
Yeah. I would say when God says it's good, then it's good because He knows everything.
Okay, so in Leviticus 25, when he said you can own the foreigners as permanent property, that was good.
Yeah, because He knows all like outcomes. So
Okay,
let's say.
so what was
have a
wrong with
family.
African American slave trade?
You're asking me, or you're asking God?
You.
See, that's the point. It doesn't matter what I think, because I'm not the judge.
Well, I'm asking what you think. God doesn't answer questions. You do. So what was wrong with the African American slave trade?
See, yeah, that's a long time after, right?
So what?
It has a big.
At what point did slavery become immoral?
When God didn't say it anymore.
But when? When did God declare slavery immoral?
When Jesus died on the cross.
Oh, show me that verse where when Jesus died on the cross, God said slavery is now immoral.
Is that how you read the Bible?
No, that's what you just said. You said when Jesus died, slavery became immoral, and I want you to justify that statement.
Yeah. Okay, I see where this is going. I see why you're putting pressure on me, and I like it because it's good. It makes me think a lot. Because there's no verses in the Bible saying that.
Yeah, there's not a single Bible passage that says slavery is wrong.
But that's the point. I don't read passages. I read books. So
yeah, me too.
I read John, then I get the idea of who Jesus is.
So what?
Then I read Matthew, and then I get the idea of who Jesus is.
Is Jesus God?
Yes.
Then that means Jesus was okay with owning slaves because he was God when God gave the slave laws.
Yeah. But again, you're attacking my viewpoint without standing on ground yourself. That's the point.
I am.
So I started with an axiom. But wait.
Just to be clear, not once did I give you my viewpoint. You don't even know what my viewpoint is. I'm asking you if you think slavery is moral, and now I'm hearing equivocation on it. You're saying, well, like it was moral, but now it's not moral.
Yeah. So I believe that God is love based on the Bible. 1 John 4:8 says he is.
But that's a meaningless statement. That's just a platitude. It means nothing to me. If owning slaves is loving, then I don't see how this is a workable definition.
But why do you specifically go to owning slaves is good or bad when you don't believe good or bad exist?
This is an internal critique on your worldview. I'm trying to get you to understand that in your worldview, you think that owning slaves is loving. And I'm saying in my worldview, we don't believe that.
But in your worldview, does good and evil exist?
No, good and evil are like religious terms. Like the word good and evil, like I won't even use the word evil typically. I would use bad, good and bad. And those words are subjective. Like you have to look out at the world around you and determine what is good and bad using empirical facts, datas, investigations, things like that. Now you believe in an unchanging, objective good and bad, not
Yeah.
me. But in your unchanging objective good and bad, you have to bite the bullet that slavery wasn't bad.
No, slavery was necessary, and
Why?
that's
For what?
to keep people alive.
Why? Why was it necessary? Why couldn't they do it without slavery?
They needed food, they needed water, they needed a
So
place to stay.
so they couldn't get paid?
What?
They just couldn't get paid because the same chapter that allows slavery explicitly tells you if the person is a Hebrew, you are to treat them like a hired servant. It's only the foreigners that you turn into slaves. It says, if any who are dependent on you become so impoverished that they sell themselves to you, you shall not make them serve as slaves, because they're your own fellow Hebrew brethren. Then he goes on, and in verse 44, he says, as for the male and female slaves who you may have, it's from the nations around you that you may acquire male and female slaves, right? So he's making a separation between like, hey, if your own fellow brethren become poor, you can make them hired workers. You can pay them like hired laborers. Why couldn't they do that with the foreigners?
Because they were not chosen by God.
Exactly. Yes. So like the slavery, the bad thing, rather than hiring them as laborers, means that you can mistreat people that aren't chosen by God. So slavery is good as long as it's to like pagans.
They didn't mistreat them. So the
What
point
do you
is that,
think owning a person as property is? Do you think that's not mistreating them?
I mean, the state owns me.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
Kinda.
Nope. You could leave anytime you want to. You can literally cross the Canadian-Mexican border. You can cross the ocean and never come back. They don't own you. They're not coming to find you.
Yeah, but then I couldn't be in that other country
Hey, Cam,
without a permit.
what you got to do is file a visa.
Yeah, or visa. Yeah.
The state's not going to come and find you. They're not going to come and drag you back and put you back on the farm.
I mean, I'm kind of owned by the system in
You're
some
not.
way. I'm just a modern slave.
No, you're not.
Okay.
What you're doing is you're trivializing the people who were actual slaves, the African Americans that were kidnapped from their nation and brought over here and forced to do harsh work in the beating sun. That's slavery. The minute you tell me that you're a slave, and what you're actually saying is that there's no difference between you and what happened to the African Americans. That's like That's like a horrendous
Yeah.
reduction
So
of what they went through.
so do you think that God allowed that kind of slavery?
He
Is
commanded
that
it.
what he commanded? But that's what he commanded, that kind of slavery?
He did. Yeah. He says you can own them for life as property.
No, the ones we know from the African slaves,
Mhm.
is that the one he commanded? Is that kind of having slaves, like they haven't no dignity, they're just working and getting beaten up and so on? Is that
Who said anything about
kind of,
getting beaten up? Also, the Bible does say you can beat them with a rod in Exodus 21. Exodus 21, verses 20 and 21.
yeah? But again, you're saying you're doing an internal critique without without um the whole Bible, without the New Testament. You're going to the Old Testament with a story that few of us can even grasp because we weren't there. You weren't there, right?
No, neither of us were there.
So and we also know that based on language, we know that when we say something, we usually make it bigger than it was. And for example, when we go to a soccer game, we say break a leg, but we don't mean break somebody's legs.
This is a crazy apologetic.
No, I'm not saying that with the slaves. I believe that God commanded them to have slaves because
Yeah.
that was the best choice. But that's the
No,
point. If you're doing
that's what I'm saying.
internal,
It's not the best choice. That's where the critique comes in. You're saying that the slavery was the best
yeah,
choice, and I'm demonstrating to you that there were, in fact, alternatives. They didn't have to enslave anybody.
okay. See, this is the point. You're saying you're doing an internal critique, but you're not,
I am.
because can God do bad stuff?
Well, it depends on what kind of a God you believe in. Like if you
No,
believe
based
in
on the Bible.
the God that you believe in, no, you don't believe God can do bad stuff. But in like
No.
the Greco-Roman world, they believe that God could do bad stuff.
Yeah, that's not what I'm saying. The Bible specifically says that God cannot do anything bad.
So what?
Everything he does is righteous.
No, I know that's what it says, but that's
Yeah,
what I'm questioning right now. If you're telling me everything God does is righteous, that means you
yeah.
have to bite the bullet and say that slavery was righteous.
It was righteous at that point, but
No,
it
what
doesn't mean I have to
again,
explain
when
why.
did it not become righteous? You still can't explain that.
When did it not become righteous?
What you want to do is have your cake and eat it too. You want to agree with me that the slavery described in Leviticus 25 and elsewhere was bad. And then you want to ignore that and say, well, God did away with it, but you can't show me where God did away with it.
Okay, so let's say God didn't do away with slavery. Then what?
Then I publicly shame you. Like, so if you believe in a God that thinks it's okay to perpetually enslave other human beings and beat them with rods and sell daughters into marriages to be concubines against their will, then I would just literally publicly shame you and say on a public platform that I think your religion is disgusting, and I would do everything in my power to reverse the harm that your religion does.
Yeah. If you ask me, based on teachings, the teachings of Jesus after the sacrifice,
But it doesn't matter.
would I come? It kind of does.
No, it doesn't. The sacrifice didn't get rid of slavery. You just keep saying that it did without demonstrating that it did. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5 that not one jot or tittle is going to pass from the law until heaven and earth pass away.
Yeah, and he fulfilled that law.
He did not. If you actually read Matthew 5:17, fulfill doesn't mean the laws go away. It says, do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have come not to abolish, but to fulfill. For truly I tell you, not until heaven and earth pass away. That's a time frame. Until heaven and earth pass away, not one letter, not one stroke of a letter will pass from the law until all is accomplished, which means heaven and earth hasn't passed away. The law is still in effect, which is why verse 19, it says, therefore, whoever breaks one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does them and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Jesus reaffirmed that the law was good.
Okay. 2 seconds. I will just find a verse where it says that.
Is it going to come from Jesus or Paul? Because Jesus never said the law was temporary.
What do you mean by Jesus or Paul?
Paul is the guy that said the law was temporary, not Jesus.
Temporary?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Paul says why the law was there.
Oh, and Paul's wrong. Paul contradicts Jesus and the Old Testament.
Oh. So that's what you believe.
No,
Okay,
no, it's not what I believe. It's what I know.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, then there's nothing to do.
The reality is you have no means of saying that slavery is wrong. Like, you just need to own up to it and say, my religion teaches that slavery is acceptable.
No, I believe God is good and he only do good things.
Well, then slavery was good.
In that time, yes.
No, it's not time limited. You can't demonstrate the time limit. You want there to be a time limit, but you can't do it.
No, but that's the point, because Jesus showed who God really is.
Yeah, a baby murderer and a slave owner.
What?
Yeah, God is a baby murderer and a slave owner.
But the problem is that your question, because I think you've been doing this for a long time, so your question is always loaded. It's always yes or no questions, and it points to a specific thing that has more complexity to
The
it.
reason
So
why I use yes or no questions is to prevent Christians from running down long rabbit trails that go nowhere.
yeah, I was speaking with I spoke with an atheist. He said, "Do you believe that gay people should be stoned?" And I said, "No, of course not." But the point is that Leviticus says so.
Mhm.
But I believe that sin should be judged. If somebody holds on to sin, they should be judged.
Wait, why is it a sin?
So why it's a sin? Because God says so. Because
You just said the law was done away with. You said we don't have to follow the law anymore.
no. That again.
Well, you like that
Leviticus,
law. You don't like the slave law, but you like the law against gay people.
but that was not a law.
Yeah, it was.
It was not a law. No.
Yeah, it was.
So where in the Ten Commandments do I find slavery?
The law is not the Ten Commandments. The law is the first 5 books of Moses, the Torah.
Yeah, but the New Testament specifically mentions 6 of the laws that you have to follow. But the point is that
it says, and Jesus says to follow all of the laws. We already covered this. Only Paul says the law. First of all, Jesus said to follow all of the laws. Paul said you don't have to follow any of them. Paul literally says all of the law had been done away with and its requirements. So you can't have this like, I want my cake and eat it too. Either the law is done away with or it's not.
it is done away with, but the law
Well,
is still there.
then that means the laws against homosexuality are done away with.
Yeah, but that's true.
So it's not a sin.
It's still a sin.
It's not a sin. There's no law. There's no law. Transgression of the law is what sin is. It's been abolished. Ephesians chapter 2. I'll read it for you. You're the one trying to say it's been abolished. It's either been abolished or it's not. It says, "For he is our peace. In his flesh he has made both into one and has broken down the dividing wall that is the hostility between us, abolishing the law with its commandments and ordinances, that he might create in himself one new humanity in place of the two, thus making peace, that might reconcile God, both to God in one body." Paul is the one saying that the entirety of the law has been done away with. So you've got 2 problems. What you want to do is say the law was done away with, therefore the slavery is somehow justified. But then you also want to say that homosexuality is a sin. Well, there's no sin if the law has been done away with.
I couldn't see on your screen because it's cramped down, so I couldn't
Oh,
read.
sorry.
But
yeah,
it's okay. It's my iPad. Could you please go to Romans 3:20?
I think you want Romans chapter 1.
No, Romans 3:20.
Okay.
Because here it states why the law is here.
Yeah, I already told you. Paul's wrong.
Based on your interpretation.
No,
yeah.
based on the Bible. He says, "For no human will be justified before him by deeds prescribed by the law, for through the law comes knowledge of sin."
Yeah.
But if the law has been done away with, then there is no sin.
But that's the point. Paul never says. But again, if you're a Christian, you will understand it.
I was a Christian for 20 years, which is why I understand the contradiction. That's why I know the contradiction's there.
But if you're reading this, then Paul says plainly that the law is here to show us where we are sinful.
But
right?
no, if you don't have to follow it, then it's irrelevant. There's no sin. Sin is the transgression of the law.
And then if you go to Romans 5:20, just two chapters
what you're
after,
suggesting is that following the law of Moses is good. So now you're equivocating again. You're going back.
Okay. This is the thing. There are two ways to get into heaven. One, being perfect and always have followed the law. And then there is the second one.
Well, that's
Have some
certainly not
hate.
true. That's
That is
factually not true. Do you think King David's in heaven or hell?
King David.
Yeah.
There are two ways to get
Do you
into
think
heaven.
King David is in heaven or hell?
Did he have Jesus?
Obviously not.
So you could answer the question.
So do you think King David's in hell? You answered the question I asked you.
It's not up to me.
Do you think King David is in hell?
Yes, because he lived righteously. And Jesus paid the price for everyone.
That's not an answer. I said, do you think he's in heaven or hell? Yes is not an answer.
Yeah, heaven.
Okay, but was he perfect?
Did he believe in God?
But was he perfect?
No.
You said you have to be perfect to go to heaven.
No, I said God knew the plan already.
No, you said there are only two ways to heaven, and one of them is being perfect.
Yeah, I'm not saying he went to heaven at that time.
No, but he'll be in heaven.
He will be in heaven, yeah.
Okay, but he wasn't perfect.
But that's the point. With
So
the
clearly,
law
clearly, there's a third way, isn't there?
No, there is only two ways.
No.
Through Jesus or being perfect.
Well, David didn't know Jesus. He didn't go through Jesus, and he wasn't perfect. So there's a third way.
Why do you say he didn't know Jesus?
Because Jesus didn't exist.
But Jesus is God.
He's clearly not. David had no idea about Jesus. The name of Jesus never left the man's lips. He never did Romans 10:9 and 10. He never confessed with his mouth and believed in his heart that Jesus Christ is Lord and that he died for anyone's sins and that God raised him from the dead. He didn't do any of that.
Yeah. So he's been judged on what he knows.
So why can't God judge everybody on what they know? You're now admitting that there's a third way.
Because
do aborted babies go to heaven?
Do what?
Do aborted babies go to heaven?
I believe so.
Do the Native Americans go to heaven?
I believe the law is written on our hearts.
The pre-Columbus Native Americans, do they go to heaven or hell?
I believe that the law is written on our hearts.
I'm asking you about the Native Americans, not the law. Do you believe that the pre-Columbian Native Americans went to heaven or hell?
I believe God can reach anyone he wants.
Yes or no? Do you believe that the pre-Columbian Native Americans entered heaven or hell, or some of them both?
Why would I know that?
I'm asking you, based on your understanding of the Bible, did the pre-Columbian Native Americans end up in heaven or hell?
Pre-Columbian what?
Before the Christians showed up in America to tell them about Jesus, what happened to those people when they died?
I don't know.
Will they end up in heaven or hell?
I don't know.
Well, if they end up in heaven, that means you don't need Jesus. And if they end up in hell, that means they were unjustly punished because they didn't know about Jesus.
So you're saying they don't know about their conscience?
No, they don't know about Jesus.
Yeah, but God would never trust or judge anyone based on their not knowing about Jesus.
Then you don't need Jesus. Fantastic. We finally came to a point of agreement. There's a third method of getting into heaven that doesn't require Jesus and doesn't require you to be perfect.
Based on what?
Based on the words that just left your mouth right now.
So could you, before Christians went into in the States, could you show me anyone not receiving Jesus in a dream or anything like that?
Do you think every single Native American had dreams about Jesus?
Maybe the righteous ones, the ones who were seeking. Maybe
that's a crazy cope. I've never even heard that. I've heard a lot of copes.
But again, he reached me.
How come not a single Native American talked about Jesus? We have no writings from the natives whatsoever pre-Columbian that mentioned Jesus.
This was my point in the first place. When I dreamt, I got God's nature. I didn't got it, but I dreamed about what God must be, and then I saw it in the Bible. So if I didn't have the Bible, I would still say that his nature is like this, this, and this, and this, and this.
You
What
you
I
did
wrote
not
down.
find that God in the Bible. You only read the parts of the Bible that confirmed your expectations. You didn't read the parts
No,
where God kills babies, has women raped. You didn't read those parts. Is that the God? Did you dream about the God that rapes women?
the God that rapes. What?
Did your dream include a God that rapes women? Because if you read the Bible, you'd find that.
Okay, so I've been in the hot seat for a bit now,
I mean,
and
I don't know why you're so like you can't answer the question. Isaiah 13, God literally says he's going to have infants dashed to pieces and the women raped. Is that the God you dreamed about? Because that's the real God of the Bible.
where do you find that?
Isaiah 13, chapter 13, verse
Uh,
15 or 16. Yeah, I'll read it for you. He says, whoever is found will be thrust through, and whoever is caught will fall by the sword. Their infants will be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses will be plundered, and their wives raped. I am stirring up the Medes against them, who have no regard for silver and no delight in gold.
and what's the context?
The context is there's judgment against the Babylonians. God is judging the Babylonians in this chapter. And part of that judgment means having their children dashed to pieces and their wives raped. I mean, listen, if that'd be a hell of a dream if that's the God you dreamed of. But that's the God of the book.
I see where you're coming from, but the point is, let's say atheism is true, then you have to go with, at that time it was okay to rape people.
No, you don't.
Yeah, it was,
No, you
because
don't.
people did it every time, like all day long.
No, you don't. But just so
But
you're aware, there are methods, philosophical arguments from atheism for objective morals. Like atheism doesn't solve anything here for you, like trying to turn on to my moral viewpoint, because my moral viewpoint isn't the atheist viewpoint. There's lots of different moral viewpoints of like the atheists hold. Mine is merely one of them. So like what you might want to say is that you don't like subjective morals. So I'm a subjective moralist. I don't believe in objective morals. I get that. And I get that people don't like subjective morals, because then you can't point your finger and say that's objectively wrong. You have to sit down and you have to talk about it and come to a conclusion that people can rationally agree to. Now, the problem is you can say, I don't like that. You can say subjective morals sounds bad to me because people could justify doing horrible things. But until you can prove that the objective morals of your God exists,
sorry,
I have nothing else to go on.
I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you. You just
Right.
fell out for a
So,
minute.
right. So the argument here, right, is you're suggesting that subjective morals, you don't like them, because it means that if a bunch of people agree on something, that that just automatically makes it moral. First of all, I don't think that is the case. But second of all, I think it's irrelevant, right? Because until you can demonstrate that objective morals do exist and show me where I can find them, then just saying you don't like how subjective moral works isn't really a valid argument. You're just saying you don't like the moral system.
Yeah, I get your point, but you're always saying, Ella, you keep saying that you're doing an internal critique of the Bible, and then you're asking me a question, it's like a yes or no question. Do you think it's good or bad doing this based on your objective morals from God? And then of course I say no, that's not good. Rape is not good, and then you go to a scripture in the Old Testament where God commanded it, and I would say to that, based on that limited knowledge we have right there, and we don't have the context fully, we don't have what God thinks, we don't have what the people did completely. I mean, you could sit like this, and we don't know
What
the
did the
future.
babies
We don't.
do? What did the babies do to get dashed to pieces?
But that's the point. If God is real, then dying is good, because then you go to God.
No, you don't. We've already established that not everyone gets to go to heaven, so that's not a valid critique.
That's not what I said.
Do you do you think that all the people that God killed went to heaven?
I think He will always judge justice. What do you say? Righteously. Yeah.
Okay, the women, when the invading army that God sent came in
I
and
mean,
started
you're
raping the
assuming.
women, do you think every one of those women was evil?
I know they were,
But how? How do you know they were?
because they didn't follow the law.
Okay, so you think that sinful women deserve to be raped?
If they turn to God, yes, it's a good
No,
idea.
no. If they don't turn to God, they deserve to be raped.
Yeah. So what happens when you're at your lowest?
I'm asking you a question. Do you think that women
Yeah.
that are sinful deserve to be raped because they're sinful?
It's one option.
And people wonder why
I
we
mean,
do these live streams when you can get on
no, no,
a public live stream and justify raping women because they don't follow the law of God. That's
no,
crazy. Like, you people are
no, no.
dangerous.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. I would never rape anyone, and I
I
would
didn't ask you
always
if
say
you
that.
would.
But I would also say that rape is wrong.
But no, you didn't. You said it's okay as long as the woman's sinful.
No, I said it is okay if God says so.
I didn't ask you if God said so. I asked you what conditions are it okay to
Okay,
rape women, and you said if they're sinful.
I would say there is one condition if God says so,
You know what I think? I don't think it's ever good to rape women.
but that's okay.
Yeah. So,
But
when does it become okay to take babies by the legs and smash their heads on rocks? When does that become okay?
I think never.
But God tells people to do it.
He didn't tell me to do it now.
It didn't say you.
Yeah, so what's your point?
But I'm asking, when is that okay? When is it okay to brutally execute an infant by smashing their head on a rock?
I say I don't know, because I don't think it's okay at all. Never.
Ever?
Ever.
But then why does God command it? And why does he say that happy is the one who takes your little ones and dashes their head against the rocks?
Yeah, that's specifically something you have to pray about
I don't
and
have to
ask
pray
God.
about it. It's horrific. Sounds like you
Yeah,
have
but
to pray about it, not me.
usually when I come to stuff that's hard to understand, I pray about it.
It's not hard
And
to
usually,
understand. It's horrific.
based on your worldview, yes.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, based on my worldview, I can say it's
Yeah,
horrific to brutally
yeah,
murder babies. Yes.
yeah.
But
Do
on
we
yours,
live
not
in
so much.
okay, so based on the Bible, does the Bible teach that we live in a fallen world?
It certainly does. Yeah.
Okay. So
Which was
would you
part of God's
expect,
plan.
yeah, would you expect in a fallen world atrocious things to happen?
Not by the God, no. I would expect it by humans, but not by the God.
But God didn't do it.
No, God does do it all the time. Yeah. God specifically says he's causing it. He commands people to murder babies. 1 Samuel 15:3, Deuteronomy chapter 20, Numbers chapter 31.
Yeah, so what will happen if they didn't do it?
I'm sure God would have been upset with them.
Okay. So why didn't they do it?
So you
Like,
think it's okay to brutally murder babies as long as God tells you? So, like, if God said, Nicholas, remember when I had all those Amalekite babies killed? I'm going to need you to kill a couple babies for me. The only appropriate response would be obedience, wouldn't it?
again, I don't think we speak about the same God.
We are. Your God commands the
Sure.
killing of babies, and you know it. So if he commanded you to
No,
kill babies, would it be right to
that
kill the
that
baby?
I would say that's how you read the text based on the context and what you know about
No.
history.
He specifically
And
does it. Why are you lying to me, Nicholas? Do I have to read more of the Bible to you? Why do you keep pretending like I haven't read the Bible when you know I have? 1
no,
Samuel 15:3 says, "Go and attack Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have. Do not spare them, but kill both man and woman, child and infant, ox and sheep, camel and donkey."
yeah,
Your God does command the killing of babies. Don't
yeah.
sit here and pretend like he doesn't. So if God commanded you to kill a group of babies, just like he did the Amalekites, would it be right to follow through with it?
And what is the story about the Amalekites?
Their forefathers committed a disgraceful act in attacking the Israelites when they came up out of Egypt 400 years ago. So again,
So did God give them 400 years to turn?
no, this has nothing to do about turning and repenting. That has nothing to do with the passage. And again, you're
So if
trying
God,
to not answer the question. The question is, if God told you, the reason's irrelevant. God has reasons. If God told you to kill a group of babies, should you do it?
yeah, no,
Why?
because based on my teaching, based on the teachings of Jesus, we shouldn't harm anyone.
Jesus doesn't say
We should
that. He specifically advocates for following through with the execution of the sons that cursed their father and mother in Mark chapter 7, according to the law of Moses. Jesus advocates for the law of Moses over and over again, which means he's okay with killing kids that curse their parents.
based on your interpretation, yes.
No, based on what he said. Do I have to read that to you?
You could.
Nicholas, at
But
what
it's based.
point are you going to realize that I've actually read the book and you haven't? Mark chapter
It's not a,
7, he says, "You have a fine way of rejecting the commandment of God in order to keep your own tradition." So he's saying now, listen, you're rejecting God's commandments. He says, "For Moses said, 'Honor your father and mother, and whoever speaks evil of father or mother must surely die.'" He's chastising them for not following through on this specific command of Moses.
mm-hmm.
So Jesus isn't above following the law of Moses when it says to command the killing of sons. So stop pretending like Jesus is somehow against killing babies. And again, if you think Jesus is God, then Jesus commanded the killing of babies in 1 Samuel 15:3. So
Yeah. Have you ever heard somebody come up with arguments for this specific episode?
there's not a good argument. And you still haven't really answered my question. I didn't ask
Yeah.
you if you
I'm,
would kill the babies, by the way. I asked
no,
you
no.
if
I'm
God
just
told you to kill the
asking you.
babies. Hold on,
Are two
Nicholas.
reasons
Nicholas,
for
I want
why?
you to eventually answer my question.
Yeah.
So I don't know why this happens so often. Well, I do know why. It's because Christians can't utter the words. They can't bring themselves to say it. I didn't ask you if you would kill the babies, by the way. I asked you if God commanded you to kill the babies.
Yeah. I
Would
would
it?
never do it.
I didn't ask you if you would. I don't know why you keep saying that. I'm not asking you if you would do it. I
You said
said,
if God commanded me
no. I didn't
to kill
say,
baby.
would you do it? I said, if God commanded you, would it be right to do it?
No,
Why?
because it wouldn't be selfless and sacrificial.
So then it was wrong when he said to do it otherwise. When he told the Israelites to kill the Amalekites, that was wrong.
The point is you're going back and forth between the
No,
Old and New Testament,
Nicholas, I'm
and
not.
with
I'm not doing that at
and
all. I'm saying that
you're missing the whole
does
point here.
God's morals change? Was killing babies right back then but wrong today?
Certainly not, but there has
Okay,
to be
so
more.
okay, so if killing babies was always wrong, then why is it wrong if he asked you to do it now?
I mean, there are people that say that Trump kills people, and
I
people
don't
say
care
to
about Trump. I'm asking about God
yeah,
today.
but that's the point. Your viewpoint on God, your perspective on God, will make you see things that are not there.
No, it's there. It's
Things,
in the text. God commands the killing of babies, and Jesus
yeah,
endorses the killing of sons.
yeah. Did you ever know God personally?
I thought I did because I was a Christian for 20 years. That's an irrelevant pivot, and I won't let you do it. Follow up
Okay,
the
so
actual conversation that we're having before you try pivoting to a new dumb topic. Mark
it's
chapter
not a new.
7, Jesus advocates for the following of the law of Moses, specifically the law that refers to killing sons for cursing their mother, or father, which means it's not against Jesus' nature to have a kid killed. So if God told you this kid over here is speaking evil of their mother and father, according to the law of Moses, they have to die. Nicholas, I need you to kill the baby. Would it be right to obey?
No,
Why?
because it would go against what Jesus taught me.
It would not go against the Bible. Are you saying you have divine revelation that contradicts the Bible?
I have revelation based on the Bible.
No, it contradicts the Bible because God in the Bible says to kill babies all the time, and Jesus is okay with it.
So can you specifically say, Ella, show me where in the New Testament after the new pact? Can you show me where it says so?
Where it says what? I just showed you in Mark chapter 7, Jesus chastises the Pharisees for not
Mark.
following the law of Moses, specifically in the execution of the rebellious son who curses their father and mother.
You said chapter 7?
Mark chapter 7. And we already covered Matthew chapter 5, where he says to follow the law. And follow the law means killing children.
Could you show me a place in the Bible where it says that the whole law is everything in the Torah?
That's what the Torah means. The Torah is the first 5 books of Moses. There's not a single piece of Jewish literature that thinks that the Torah is somehow less than the laws of Moses. That's why it's referred to as the law of Moses.
Yeah, so when I read the Bible, I don't get the impression that there are more laws than 10.
You haven't read the Bible then. God
Okay.
gave 613 laws to Moses. Do you think God didn't give those laws?
No.
Why would you think there's only 10 laws? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, you're right.
The two most important laws,
Because
the two most
Jesus
important
based
laws
those-
that Jesus listed in Matthew 23 or 22, neither one of them are part of the 10 Commandments.
Yeah, but Jesus based all the law on his 2 commandments.
And neither one of them are part of the 10. Both those commandments that Jesus gives, neither one of them are part of the 10 Commandments. In fact, it is chapter 22.
Yeah.
Let me put it on the screen for everybody. It says, when the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together, and one of them, an expert in law, asked him a question to test him. Teacher, which commandment in the law is the greatest? And he said to them, you should love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. This is the greatest commandment, and the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these 2 commandments hang all the law and the prophets. So the law includes a commandment from Deuteronomy 6 and Leviticus 19, which means the law is the entire law of Moses. It's not the 10 Commandments.
Yeah, so this is kind of proves my point.
Actually, it doesn't.
The whole law hangs upon those 2 commandments.
Yeah, which means owning a slave is compatible with loving your neighbor as yourself. If God says you can own slaves, and all of the laws can be classified into one of these 2 different laws, that means owning slaves is compatible with loving your neighbor as yourself, because the God who said to love your neighbor as yourself in Leviticus 19:18, 6 chapters later, said that you can own slaves.
But it's funny, I never read it as laws.
How are they not laws? Leviticus 25 starts out, the Lord spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai saying, speak to the Israelites and say to them, When you enter the land that I'm giving you, the land shall observe a Sabbath for the Lord. 6 years you shall sow, and he gives a whole chapter full of laws.
But where does it
These
say
commandments
law?
and laws are the same.
But where does it say laws? It's law.
All of the
And why
commandments are
does Jesus
laws.
specifically say that the greatest? Why do he make a difference between some laws and some other laws?
He doesn't make a difference. You're trying to make that difference. Jesus doesn't.
But that's what I'm reading.
No, you're not reading that.
He says these are the greatest.
Try again. He says, "Teacher, which commandment in the law?" The law is a collection of commandments.
Yeah,
Instructions
so
and
which
commandments by
commandments?
God, those are the laws. There's no distinction between a law and a commandment. God's commands become law.
Mm-hmm.
That's all there is to it.
What verse is this?
Matthew 22:36.
36. And sorry, English is not my first language, so I
No,
have to
actually,
read it in.
your English is really good.
Thank you. Um, so when I read it, I get the impression that if the law is not built on those two commandments, that you should love God with all your heart, which means you should give your life away to God and give your life away to your neighbor. I don't see it, let's say I follow that, would be naturally to logically conclude that I wouldn't kill anyone, for example. If I
No,
just
it
say
wouldn't.
yes, it was.
No, it
Yes, it would.
wouldn't. Where does this
Okay,
command come from?
then I'm very happy that I misunderstand
Nicholas,
the Bible.
Nicholas, where does this law come from?
It comes from God.
Comes from the law of Moses. Does the law of Moses tell you that you can kill babies?
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, in Deuteronomy 20. It says when you draw near to
Which book is that? Deuteronomy, is that 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or
that's
5?
the fifth book of the law.
And 10? What verse? What chapter?
It's verse 10.
No, what chapter?
Oh, Deuteronomy 20.
20. And then
Yep. It says when you draw near to a town to fight against it, offer it terms of peace. If it accepts your terms of peace and surrenders to you, then all the people in it shall serve you as forced labor. But if it does not accept your terms of peace and makes war against you, then you shall besiege it. And when the Lord your God gives it into your hand, you shall put all of its males to the sword. You may, however, take as your plunder the women, the children, the livestock, and everything else in the town as spoil. You may enjoy the spoil of your enemies, which the Lord your God has given you. Thus, you shall treat the towns that are very far from you, which are not the towns of the nations here. But as for the towns of these people that the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, you must not let anything that breathes remain alive. You shall annihilate them.
yeah, I've heard preachers speak about, scholars speak about what it means when they use hyperbole. They, for example, when we say break a leg, and
Yeah.
yeah, and I know you don't believe that, but
Yeah, your preacher
this
lied to
is
you.
that's not my preacher. It's just random on YouTube. But based on what I know about God and His nature, it would be weird I agree.
It's not weird, it's contradictory. Your idea of God is not
Yeah,
built on the Bible. Your idea of God is built on something outside of the Bible. That's what we've been
yeah.
demonstrating the entire time. The God you believe in is not the God of this book.
I don't agree.
But then you'd be wrong. The God that you believe in, if he doesn't believe in killing babies, then that's not the God of this book. The God of this book believes in killing babies and having women raped, so on and so forth.
Yeah, based on your interpretation of what it means.
No, based on
And
the
what
actual words in the book. I
Yeah.
haven't given you my interpretation. I literally just read you word for word what it says.
Yeah.
When God says in 1 Samuel 15:3 to execute all of the babies, men,
Yeah.
women, and children, and then later in the same chapter he gets mad because one human being was preserved.
Yeah. I have a question then. Do you think, based on the Bible, salvation is for everyone who has Jesus?
I mean,
Also
based on
Gentiles?
this is an irrelevant question, but yeah, based on the
No,
Bible, the answer would be
yeah.
yes, because in Romans
So
10,
you would disagree with Black Hebrew
in
Israelites,
Hebrew
and
Israelites
they
are in
and yeah,
it,
but
the
they are
Hebrew.
reading the same. They are reading the same text, but they come to different conclusions based on the
Well,
text. And
well, the Hebrew Israelites are insane. They're not reading the text; they're reading one chapter in Deuteronomy.
exactly, that's what I feel that you also do.
No, I'm not doing. I read the entire book. That's why I can pull it up on memory.
Yeah, and that's good for you. But it's like when you know God's nature,
You don't
selfless.
know God's nature. That's why I keep trying to tell you. You don't know God's nature. You believe you know God's nature, and every time I read the book to you, it demonstrates that God's nature is not what you think it is.
No, I believe that judging sin is good.
Oh, so you believe it is good then to execute babies, as long as they're sinful. As long as their parents are sinful.
No, but I believe sin has come to an end.
I didn't
In
ask you that. I didn't ask you if you think sin came to an end. First of all, sin did not come to an end. People are still sinning.
yeah, okay, that again, bad wording. Um, so what am I saying? The way I read the Old Testament and the New Testament is that the Old Testament was an outer law. The New Testament is written on our hearts. So but there also came with the what's called pact in. Oh, it's a testament. No, what's the word? Doesn't matter. The New Testament, there are new laws based on the old laws that Jesus gave, the 2 commandments.
Jesus didn't give any new
And
laws. He gave one new law. He says I have one new commandment for you: love others as I have loved you. Other than
yeah,
that, he propped up the laws of Moses on every turn.
yeah, but that's a very specific and very important commandments, because that's the commandments that make slaves go away. That's the
No, it
commandment.
doesn't. Loving your neighbor
So
as yourself doesn't get rid of slavery. It was commanded at the same time that God said you can own slaves, which means according to God, those are not incompatible. If God says love your neighbor as yourself, and then he says you can go enslave these people, obviously they're compatible with each other, or God himself is a hypocrite.
hmm he could be, but I don't think so.
What? Well, then you can't say that owning slaves is incompatible with Leviticus 19:18 because it can't be.
Okay, 2 seconds, I'll check.
The second greatest commandment that you're looking for that Jesus quoted is from Leviticus 19:18.
Yeah.
So if God himself gave that commandment in Leviticus and then 6 chapters later said you can own slaves, there's obviously not an incompatibility between owning slaves and loving your neighbor as yourself.
I get why people look at the Bible and think this is crazy.
Because it is
I get
crazy.
either that or there is something we don't understand.
No, or it's just crazy.
Yeah, sometimes when we don't have the full context, we will say things are crazy because we
It
don't
is.
know.
That's God's problem. If God couldn't write a book that was coherent, that's his problem. Not only is that his problem, but he is like sending people to hell for rejecting this nonsense, which means I'm reading the book and I'm showing how nonsensical it is. And in your worldview, he's going to send me to hell because I don't believe this God exists because of how silly his book
Yeah.
is. That's insanity.
Yeah. Okay. Again, this conversation has been taking a turn, and I see why it's going down this lane every time. It's because you start with something you have a problem with in the Bible without reading from the New Testament. You read from the Old and try to understand the New, but you
I've
should read from the
read,
New to understand the Old.
no, the New Testament contradicts the Old Testament. That's why I don't interpret
Yeah,
the Old
so
Testament through the lens
so
of the New Testament for the same reason you don't interpret the New Testament through the lens of the Book of Mormon, because they're not compatible.
I would say there are, but there are things we have to pray about and ask
They're
for.
not. I'll show you a perfect example of how they're not compatible. Go to Jeremiah 31 for me.
Jeremiah 31. Yeah.
We're going to read a couple passages. Go to 31:15. So in 31:15 it says, "Thus saith the Lord, a voice is heard in Ramah, lamentation and bitter weeping. Rachel is weeping for her children. She refused to be comforted for her children because they are no more. Thus saith the Lord, keep your voice from weeping and your eyes from tears, for there is a reward for your work, says the Lord. They shall come back from the land of the enemy. There is hope for your future, says the Lord. Your children shall come back to their own country." Now, knowing what you know about Jeremiah, what do you think the prophet is predicting here?
He's predicting something in the New Testament.
No, he's not. He's talking about the Babylonian exile as the mothers are watching their children be carried away into captivity. If you read Jeremiah 25 and 29, you would know that he's saying that after 70 years, they'll come back from the land of the enemy. Just 2 chapters prior, he tells you that they're going to spend 70 years in exile. It says, I will let you find me, says the Lord, and I will restore your fortunes and gather you from all the nations and all the places where I have driven you, says the Lord, and I will bring you back to the place where, I will bring you back to the place from which I sent you into exile. And this was going to happen after a period of 70 years. Verse 10, thus saith the Lord, only when the Babylonians 70 years are completed will I visit you, and I will fulfill to you my promise to bring you back to this place. Over and over again, Jeremiah is referring to coming back to the land of Israel after the Babylonian captivity. The entire book is about the Babylonian captivity. Follow so far? So in Jeremiah 31, when he refers to the mothers of Israel, it says, thus saith the Lord, keep your voice from weeping and your eyes from tears. There is a reward for your work, says the Lord. They shall come back from the land of the enemy. Clearly, he's saying that they're going to come back from Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
Am I taking that out of context, or am I putting it in context?
No, it's okay.
It seems pretty clear that he's talking about the Babylonian exile, isn't he?
Yeah, it seems.
The problem is if you go to Matthew 2 and do verse 18, when the babies are killed in Bethlehem, Matthew says, then what was fulfilled through the prophet Jeremiah? A voice was heard in Ramah, wailing in loud lamentation, Rachel weeping for her children. She refused to be consoled because they are no more. Conveniently left off the part where it says that your children will return from the land of the enemy. It's almost like Matthew didn't know how context worked.
And what's the point?
The point is Matthew's lying to your face. He's saying that Jeremiah 31 is referring to something that's happening in Bethlehem in the 1st century when it wasn't.
Yeah, see, this is the. I would say it means maybe something different in
So
the
the
New Testament.
context doesn't matter anymore? Jeremiah's context doesn't matter?
Again, if you ask Jehovah's Witness, if you ask normal Christians, if you ask Hebrew Israelites, they will go different ways with the same text.
I see. Does the context of the prophecy matter in the interpretation?
But this, I mean, this is I would say this is a prophecy about the fall of Jerusalem.
It's not.
But that's what I would say, because that's what happened after.
No, it's a prophecy about the babies being killed in Bethlehem, according to Matthew. Matthew says when Herod had the babies killed in and around Bethlehem of 2 years and younger, that fulfilled the voice heard in Ramah, wailing in loud lamentation, Rachel weeping for her children. She refused to be consoled because there are no more. That certainly isn't the case. Jeremiah is obviously talking about the Israelites coming back from Babylon. That's why it says that their children will come back. These children are dead. They're not coming back. See, I'm reading the Bible in context. The New Testament's not. The New Testament is doing a sharpshooter fallacy, which is Jesus must be the Messiah. Is there anything in the Old Testament I can rip out of its original context and just say it's about Jesus? That's what the New Testament's doing. It's a cope. It's a lie.
Okay.
Same thing with the virgin birth. That comes directly from Isaiah chapter 7. Isaiah chapter 7 doesn't say squat about a Messiah or a virgin birth.
So that's why you think it's a lie? One of the reasons?
I know it's a lie. Jesus did not fulfill a single messianic prophecy, and the prophecies that are listed in the New Testament are just out of context quotations from the Old Testament. Not even from the Hebrew Old Testament, it's from the Greek Old Testament.
Yeah, I just think it's funny that scholars and atheists that was Christian before and turning atheist, and black Hebrew Israelites and Jehovah's Witness and people like myself who had a real experience and then came to God and then find the experience in the Bible. I think it's funny that we have such a different view on God, because everything you're saying is
because I read the
based
whole
on,
book. I've read the entire book, and you haven't.
but that's the point. The lens you're reading from is important.
But my lens is irrelevant. I know what words mean. Like, I don't need a lens to know what Jeremiah was referring to.
Apparently, you do.
No, I don't. All you have to do is read the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah tells you what he's talking about.
So you don't think there is a good argument? I mean, I don't have any good arguments.
I know. There aren't good arguments.
That's not why I came to God. It was not because of a good argument. It was because of a real experience.
Yeah, I know.
That's why
you had a dream. It was because of a dream that you had.
No, it was because of an experience that felt more real than my normal life.
Yeah,
and
you had a dream. Yeah, it happens all the time. It happens in every religion. I have a friend who was visited by 2 of the Hindu gods. Does that mean the Hindu gods are real?
But if more people all around the world are having that experience, that means that
I had a friend visited by the Hindu gods. Does that mean the Hindu gods are real?
No, it just means that the spiritual realm is real.
No, I don't think it means any of that. It means that people have hallucinations all the time.
Okay, but my hallucination changed me.
So what? His hallucination changed him too.
Yeah, that's good enough. But yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. So
it's
like
not,
what you've
not
done.
Like I wanted to change your mind because your mind is set. It's not what I'm trying to.
My mind is not
Uh,
set. My mind wants actual argumentation and viable evidence, and I know that
yeah,
it's not out there because I've already looked at the
I'm
arguments
not
and evidence.
I'm not sure you're entirely honest,
I am,
because what I started
but
with,
I'm not
not
sure you're
not
honest, Nick. Sounds
no
like
no
you're
no
not honest.
yeah, wait, it's not meant like that. Uh, the reason why I said is that my whole argument, the thing I wanted to start with, we didn't even speak about.
Oh, sorry. What was your initial argument?
That we have to start with an axiom.
What's your axiom?
God is love.
I disagree. He's not. Want me to show you why he's not?
I mean, no.
I mean, I
I
can prove
mean,
it to you, though. I can prove it from the Bible. God is
see,
love,
see,
which
see. This
means
is what I mean by dishonest.
is love kind.
Again,
First
let
Corinthians 13 is love kind.
could you maybe steel man my position then, to see
Your
if you actually understand it?
your position is that God is love, and
Based on what?
your definition of love comes from the Bible. So now I'm asking you, according to 1 Corinthians 13, where the definition of love is given, is love kind?
See, this is what you didn't get from the
It's like
start.
you can't answer the question because you know where it leads. Is love kind according to 1 Corinthians 13?
Okay, see, here is the whole argument.
I can't read
So
that. I can't see anything on your
no,
screen.
no, no. But that's the point. I get to one line and then you go to the Bible.
Right,
That's
because
not my argument.
I can show you how your argumentation's already fallacious without hearing your argument, because it starts out premise number 1 is false. God cannot be love if love is kind. God cannot be love if love keeps no record of wrongs. So you have to either say 1 Corinthians 13 isn't true or God isn't love.
Can you give me 2 seconds? I need to pee. Takes 2 seconds.
I don't know what happened to him. I guess he went to go get something. Read a couple super chats while he's on his way. Josh, thank you for the $2 super chat. Josh says there's medication for Jason's condition. That there is. We got some more super chats from when Jason was up here, actually. Peter says Nirvana satanic. At least say Slayer or something. That was a crazy thing, thinking that Nirvana was satanic when we have legit satanic. Like, what about Cradle of Filth? That's a satanic band. I know not everyone knows who. But Slayer, sure. Biter says Jason and the Argonauts. Oh, that's a good play on words. That's a good play on words. If you know, you know. And Libra, again, says, Jason, leave Hinduism out of your weird beliefs because you're just wrong. I've done the research. Stop drawing Hindu deities into your wrong beliefs. Yes. Agreed. Welcome back, Nick.
Excuse me. I just really need it.
Right. So the basis
Yeah.
of why, like, when you say God is love, and love is defined in the Bible, then I'm going to take you to the Bible where it says that. Obviously.
Can I explain my viewpoint before you explain it?
Go for it.
Okay, thank you. I started with God is love. I'm not speaking about God from the Bible or Allah or the Hindu God, just stating that I believe there's a creator and that creator must be love. And the kind of love that creator must be is selfless, sacrificial, patient, and truth-seeking. And apparently that's what I found in a verse in the Bible. This was before I became Christian. So before I said yes to Jesus and so on, I had this idea. So therefore, God's nature must be relational, because the way I describe love is relational. It's
But
based
where
on
did your
a you,
description come
and
from?
it comes from my dream.
Okay, so it doesn't come from the Bible.
It's in the Bible, apparently. That's why I believe in the Bible, because my dream aligned with the Bible.
Well, it can't align with the Bible. We've already demonstrated that 10 times.
Okay, so why you're saying it's coming from the Bible?
So you said it's coming from the Bible, and I'm demonstrating that it doesn't come from the Bible.
Okay, but that's okay for me, but it doesn't mean God doesn't exist.
No,
It
it just
just means
means the God you claim to believe in doesn't exist.
no, it does not.
Yeah, it does. Because if your God draws contradictions with his holy book, either one of those two things isn't true or neither of them are true.
So who wrote the book?
A bunch of men. Do you think the book is true?
Some of it.
How much?
Depends on what you mean by true.
Which parts are true and which parts are not?
It depends on you believe in true or not true. Do you believe in ultimate truth?
The truth is what corresponds to reality. Do you believe that all of the Bible corresponds to reality or not?
Yeah, but it's not everyone that believes that truth is objective. So that's why I asked.
But listen, truth is not a thing that is objective. Truth is something that either corresponds with reality or not. Being objective has nothing to do with it.
So could truth be contradictory?
No, contradictions don't even exist.
So why are you saying there's contradictions in the Bible?
Because your God contradicts the Bible, which means one of the two is wrong. Your idea of God is wrong, or the Bible is wrong, or they're both.
Okay, it could be. But I say that because God is love, and that kind of love I described, he must be relational. And because he's relational, it must be there is a you and a me, and the bond between those two as minimum. For this conversation to take place, there has to be you and me, and then the connection and the meanings. It's a triune. It's
Wait, how do you know that God is love? You keep asserting it, but how do you know?
An axiom is something you don't know. It's something you believe, and then you base your worldview on it.
Oh, I don't have an axiom that God has to be loving, though. You do.
Yeah.
Like, why would I hold that axiom?
I don't know why you should have. Everyone has axioms.
Yeah, I agree. I'm asking for that specific axiom. Why would somebody land on that particular axiom?
I lean towards there must be a creator rather than not.
But I'm asking about the axiom. I'm asking about the axiom of God being love.
Okay, love is also a loaded word in today's time, because love is not chemistry. Love is
All
an
right.
action.
Listen, Nicholas, I'm afraid I'm running up on my time limit. I've got to end the stream and get to dinner. I've got dinner plans, or else I'd talk longer. But I appreciate you being cordial. I know I really put a lot of heat on you and I gave you a hard time. But to be quite honest, you handled it really well. So you get some props for dealing with a difficult conversation so well.
Thank you. And thanks for the conversation. There's something to think about, and I'm sorry that I didn't get to only one of the premises. So
I know. I'm sorry. These conversations get bogged down on the premises.
yeah, but that's not how axioms work. You have to draw from the axiom, and then you have to conclude from the axiom, and then you can say, I don't think that explains how the world works, and then you can come with your axiom and your explanation. We started at a weird place, but that's okay. It's my fault.
No, it's not your fault. These conversations get off track easy.
Yeah, it's okay. Thanks
right,
a lot.
Thanks for coming by and being kind. Cheers.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I'll give him that. He came in being kind and he left being kind. Let me grab a couple of super chats. Dr. Pizza, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. That's huge, friend. Says lots of people today could use a psych eval. Could you briefly give your reasons for why the KJV is awful? I've recently started talking to someone who is adamant that it's the best interpretation. Praise. Like, well, I have a document that I've been collecting with errors in the King James. Dr. Pizza, send me a message on Discord. I'll send you a copy of my document that's got a bunch of translation errors of the King James and why that is the case. But I think my favorite example, and I've used it a lot, is everyone knows about the goddess Asherah. You will not find her in the King James Bible because when they translated it in 1611, they didn't know what to do with that Hebrew word. They didn't know what it meant. We hadn't discovered all of the cuneiform tablets from the ancient Near East that we have, and we didn't know that Asherah was a goddess. So they translated the word Asherah as a grove of trees, and just look up all the times where it talks about that in the King James, and it's hilarious. It's hilarious to see how they struggle to fit a grove of trees into the context of all these passages that's clearly talking about a female deity. It's hilarious. And Flux says, the man who owned my grandfather's family as slaves is also my great-great-great-great-grandfather. You do the math. He was also a reverend. I'd love to know what Nicholas finds loving about that. Nothing. But that's the thing, is I think he was realizing towards the end that the God he believed in isn't the God of the book. Thank you for the super chat. Angela, thank you for the super chat. It says, Christians try to separate Jesus from the Old Testament morals and practices because Jesus is love, but simultaneously try to prove Jesus' divinity through the Old Testament. Can't have it both ways. You're right. You can't have it both ways. And one of my favorite things that was pointed out by Skits and Bits a long time ago was that if you believe Jesus is God, you can never run away from the Old Testament. That means Jesus was in the Old Testament giving those commands. You can't get out of it. This is how it is. Scotty says, based on the Bible, Dahmer is in heaven because he was saved and baptized in prison before death. Yes. And guys like me, guys who just love truth, are in hell. That's all there is to it. Entropy Eater, thank you for the $10 super thanks. I appreciate that. That's a big W. And Martin says, thank you for your donation. Well, Martin, thank you for your donation. I really appreciate that. And Brianna, thank you for the 666. Hail Nero says, it's always funny when you say, given what you know about, as if these people have read the Old Testament. You know, I do chuckle inside a little bit every time when I read like Jeremiah or Isaiah, and I said, okay, given what you know about the context of this, book, give me the interpretation. The real is, like, they don't have an interpretation or any context. They've got nothing. Robin says, nice haircut. Well, thank you, Robin. Hey, I appreciate that. I maybe should have combed my hair down to cover my forehead injuries, but what are you going to do? My forehead's getting so tall, I'm not going to have enough hair to cover it eventually. Becky, thank you for the $10 super chat. It says, I've been deconstructing, and it's been so hard for me. My whole family is still very Christian, and I'm struggling to give up especially the fear of hell. That's hard, Becky. That's really hard. So here's what I can tell you from my experience and others' experiences is, like, the fear of hell naturally goes away eventually. Like, the less you believe the nonsense, the less you are afraid of hell. So I would say it's a long journey. It's okay if you still have a little bit of fear of hell. Just keep working at it. Eventually, it'll work itself out because you'll just realize that it's not true. There is no hell. But join the Discord for sure. It's in my profile. And Kenneth says, all-knowing God talking to all-knowing Jesus. I know, isn't that crazy that they're even having conversations? Andrew, thank you for the $10 super chat. Says, I never realized it was possible to get a contact high from a live stream before, but that last guy made my eyes cross. Yes, John was out of his mind or high, for sure. JMR, my friend, thank you for being here. Says, bro, Jason, why are you trying TKO dumpster fire your name? I think you mean trying to dumpster fire your name. I'm already digging out the trenches over here. Don't add this to my plate. Please help. Maybe guess first, though, for safety reasons. Jason's was a little bit out there. Like, at least he was entertaining, though, JMR. Like, I think we can give him that. And Atlas says, damn, I was worried that guy would reveal that I'm Lucifer. Whew. I am Magenta. Oh, well, listen. I mean, it sounds like you're one step closer, at least. You know what I mean? Smack says everyone knows Diet Pepsi is God, not Diet Coke. I love you, but I will disagree. I would go to Pat for Coke Zero. Coke Zero every day of the week. David Burke, thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. Says Browns fans from 1963, age 8, attended first Monday night game in Cleveland Municipal Stadium, 1970 Browns, 31 Naaman. Jets 21, 83,000 in attendance. Brown can go 2-14 so long as 2 wins over Steelers. Yes. That's 100%. If you're a Browns fan, you know what I'm talking about. A win over the Steelers twice in the season is like winning the Super Bowl. And Spider says Wednesday Muslim mayhem and Christian crazy so far. The fact that both contain so much pedo shit should be enough for people. Also, I heard that Arabic translation was 27 raisins and not virgins. I really don't know about that. We should ask Ems. That would be hilarious. And Flux Channeler, good to see you, says, I love it when people challenge you on Greek or Hebrew. LL, much love. Big J, keep cooking these weird slavery defenders. I will. And I do get a little excited when they are in shock that somebody learned Greek or Hebrew. There's a lot of us out here. There's a lot. Larry sent 5 DZ Debate memberships. Thank you, Larry. And just a couple more. Red Trek says, as a black person listening to this person claim he's owned by the state, it's LOL worthy. I'd say even worse. These people have no idea or care what slavery is. Yeah, when they conflate being a citizen with slavery, that's insane. Crucifix me, good to see you. It says, I forgot to beat my slaves with a rod. Be right back. Listen, make sure you don't kill them on purpose, only on accident. And Flux coming in again, thank you, Flux, is that I can point you to the plantation that my grandfather's grandfather was enslaved on. It's currently listed for $14 million that my family will not see a dime of. Nicholas, you are not an effing slave. 1,000,000%. You're not a slave. You are not a slave. Nobody owns you. No one's beating you with a rod. And Flux says, if Nicholas thinks slavery was so great, my mom has 3/4 of an acre with a vegetable garden that could use an extra hand. Yes. Actually, if you're a slave, you can't say no anyways. And Trude Hell, thank you for the 200 NOK. Big W, friends. Says Nicholas only reads books, not verses. See where that got him. Keep up the good work, Justin. Pet rock from me. Pet the rock from me. I will. And thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Beth, thank you for the $20 super chat. Beth says, enjoying watching you roasting these Christians over the fire and waiting to hear about my son's first day in an electrical engineering program at WVU. Keep smoking them. Hail Doug. Beth, that is huge news. He's going to love electrical engineering. It's such an amazing profession. And not, first of all, electricity is fucking cool. Like, it's just cool. There are a few things more cool than applying electricity to something and watching it do stuff. It's just cool. So I hope he has the best of time. And Flux with another $10 super chat says, it occurs to me that the fact that the Old Testament never actually says Jesus' name is proof enough that he isn't the Messiah. You'd think it should shout it out, and it's shout him out of it was meant to, okay, they shut him out on purpose. Well, actually, his name is in the Old Testament. His real name is Joshua or Yehoshua. And later on in the New Testament, they actually draw on this connection. So, but you're right. It should have said that Yehoshua was going to be the Messiah. But then again, everyone would name their kid Yehoshua after that, you know? Nightman Cummins says the mass dream thing is ripped straight from dark fantasy manga Berserk. I know. I'll never understand people who have dreams and think that their dreams make God real. You know what I mean? All right, friends, I've got to go. I'm on a hard time cutoff today. I'll be back home starting new streams on Monday. I'll finally be back to my regular hard schedule, 6 p.m. to like midnight, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I'll be on AXP and the line on Sundays. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate everyone liking and chatting and supporting and super chatting. Thank you to all the members who support the channel. I really appreciate that so many people support the channel through memberships. It means the world to me. And hug your family, friends, and your loved ones. Enjoy the rest of the day. It's only 6 o'clock, and I'll see